on government, city council, and you can follow it through and get the agenda, because there are things that are attached, and you can just click on them, and then they'll come up on your phone or your computer. Um, we'll just do a roll call. I'm Mayor Alder, um, and we have Scott Campbell, Brent Speth, Janelle Seeley, Carrie Kirk, and David Coons, our council members. We appreciate all the work that they do. Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Carrie Kirk will give us an opening prayer unless we have someone in the audience that would like to do that. Okay.
Our eternal Father in heaven, we bow our heads and express gratitude for the opportunity we have of living in this beautiful valley, in this country of abundance and freedom. We are grateful to be in the city of Providence, where we are so well served. We pray that we can follow Thy Spirit as we meet tonight. Bless that we can be kind to each other and that we can listen and participate in wisdom. We pray that we might be mindful of the needs of the citizens, and we offer this prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Let's do the council reports. Scott, how about if we start with you?
Sure. Get this over here. A few different things I was able to do this month. I watched the Cache County Council meeting and ended up having some questions on that. So I've reached out to Catherine Bust, and we have a meeting Thursday to go over some of the questions I had regarding that. I attended the Cache Trails Alliance Committee meeting. It's virtual, but I attended it. They had listed something with Providence, so I was very curious what that was, and it was just a question about wildlife management area and some people creating some bridges up there, and so it was at the very end. So I sat through the whole thing, going, "Yeah, this is interesting. Doesn't apply to me." And until I got to the very end, it's like, well, that doesn't really either. But anyway, it was an education because I had not attended before. I had a good tour. Ryan took me on a good tour of some of the city facilities, and I was able to see the remodeled restrooms in parks and cleaned up pump stations and re-roofed pavilions and other things that city has been working on and doing over the last while, and it looked great. And I will say, based on that experience, we have now the nicest restrooms in any parks I've been in some time. So it was nice. In addition to that, I've been working on the America 250, and I'm excited about that. I wasn't at first. I don't ever call me to be an activities committee chair. It's not my thing. But anyway, we're working on some ideas, some opportunities to kind of get the community together and do something of value. And so more to come on that. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I too met with Ryan and got the tour of the city, and I am very impressed with the things that are going on and have been done. We've been making some very wonderful improvements throughout the city, and I'm very impressed with our staff and Ryan and others taking care of things. Ryan and I had some discussion about our trucks, our garbage trucks, and logos on the truck and limits to the area where they could serve. And we had that discussion, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit later tonight. Uh, I was very impressed with the wisdom that came in purchasing that property at 400 South. I kind of wondered how that trail was going to come down off of 400 South and connect up down at the bottom. And I'm very, very impressed that that has been cut into the hillside. It looks like a very good trail. And as we look to connecting it with the sidewalk program along 100 East, it really starts coming in from the south end or coming in from the north end. It's a really a living project, and I think it's going to be a very wonderful project. Uh, I also want to bring to your attention that tomorrow there's an earthquake. It's all scheduled. So make sure you crawl under your desk and hide in an area where you won't be crushed. But anyway, tomorrow is Utah's Great Shakeout. And if you have any interest in, and this is for businesses, schools, and for homes. And if you have any interest in seeing what you can do, probably in your home or your business, to protect you or your family or your employees, go to the website shakeout.org/Utah, and you can see many, many things that you can be doing to protect your family and workers. So there's about 920,000 people have signed up so far to participate in the shakeout tomorrow. So that's a pretty good cross section of Utah. And so I had hoped that you would take a few minutes to check out that website. And if there's things at your home, I mean, we all have bookcases. Hopefully, with the new codes, all water heaters are anchored, but there's some older water heaters probably out there that are not anchored. There's just different things that you can do. And another thing is how do you contact your children? If they're off to school and an earthquake happens, what's your method of being able to come together with your children? You may not have the luxury of a cell phone. Think about it, look into it. That's about all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
I also went on the tour. I appreciate the staff and all of the hard work that they do to really make the facilities nice in our community. I am going to be helping with the fun run for Sauerkraut Days. So if anybody sees themselves as an avid runner and wants to help me, I welcome help.
Even if you're not a runner, please come and help us.
Yeah, because we need somebody to hand out medals at the finish line. And snacks. The school district has come out with their finalized boundary adjustments, mostly particular for the elementary schools. So get on their website and see if you're staying or shifting in the fall, because those boundaries will go in effect in the fall. I visited with some residents on different items on the agenda. Next week, I'm going to the conference in St. George for the Utah League of Cities and Towns. And there's an open survey for the public transit for Connect that's going on right now. And I think it would be worthwhile to share that around and see if we can get some feedback. I know with their rideshare model, some people don't understand it very well. So if we can give them some feedback, maybe they'll help educate the population and public so they can utilize it a little bit more. So
Thank you.
Well, I did not go on a city tour with Ryan, but I've been on one before. I've been on a world tour the last 15 days, so to speak. I've spent the last 2 weeks in China and Thailand and South Korea, and it just reminds me that there's good people all over the world trying to do good, and there's great countries, and people love their countries as we love ours, and it's so interesting to see how different cities organize themselves and create opportunities for their citizens. And I'm glad to be here tonight. The youth council applications are currently open, and spots are filling. But if you know any high school age youth that would like to participate in monthly service within our community and valley, those applications will be open for another month. The youth council and I did an Easter egg hunt that was very well attended, and it's so fun to have that hunt at Von Bear Park where we can really hide eggs, and the youth make it such a fun thing for the children of the community. If you
What was the
haven't,
attendance, do you know?
well, I know what it's supposed to be. So we started this new Easter egg hunt tradition. It's been off and on in Providence over the years, but we started it in 2021 and did a sign up so that we could control numbers. So we continue to do a sign up and have 2 Easter egg hunts. We do 150 slots at each hunt, but some parents, instead of taking a slot for each child, will take a slot for 5 children. So between 150 and 200 kids signed up for each hunt. That's where we're at.
So 500 probably.
At least that, I'm sure some just come and that's okay too. But it also makes it so that we can really focus on children of Providence and kind of a way of rewarding those who follow the Providence social media, because that's how we advertise it. But it's a really fun hunt. If you haven't seen, there's progress being made on the Grandview Park. When I ran for council 6 years ago, something that was really important to me was preserving open space. And Ryan has taken that directive and been very proactive in making offers on pieces of land within Providence. And we have tried so hard to acquire ground, but it's hard to outbid developers when you can only pay appraised value. Legally, we can only pay appraised value. But we did acquire some land on Grandview that will be turned into a park, and the grading makes it look like it's going to be usable and fun, and I'm excited for that. We have met with the Sauerkraut Committee, and my family and I have made a tradition of being really involved with that committee and continuing to grow that celebration. And then I'm looking forward to the library and fire discussions tonight. We've got some big problems to solve, and there's no easy answers, and there's as many opinions as there are people. So it will be interesting to see how that goes moving forward.
Thank you.
Well, 4 out of 5 for a tour with Ryan, so not bad. I think we could have consolidated and saved you some time if we were allowed to sort of meet closer, but I appreciate the time that he puts into those for us. We walked the trail off of 400 as well and toured some restrooms and looked at the Grandview Park progress and some other things. So it's always valuable to just get out and around and see what staff has been up to and the progress they've been making. We are having some projects going on with Just Serve, and one of them is in the cemetery. There's pine cone, twig, and branch cleanup that I've posted on there, and we already have a whole bunch of volunteers. There's two youth groups that wanted to do it next week and the week after, and we had a couple of brothers that called me this morning and said they were going to go over today, and so we'll see. I think there's enough that we can have everyone do a little bit and make it easy on those who decide to go and valuable for their time, but also get the job done eventually a little at a time. So that's good. We're along with Just Serve, we're looking at making Providence a Just Serve city, and Mayor passed me some information on that this week, and so more to come on that. I was also touring, not the world, but just out of state, so I missed our trustees meeting for the mosquito abatement district this time. Until they start spraying, there's not really much going on there anyway, but I'll have more to report next time with the next meeting, hopefully. I think spraying will probably start earlier this year, just because of the warmer season that we've started with. What else? ULCT and St. George next week. Janelle mentioned that, and I don't know if all of us are going, but at least the 2 of us, it sounds like. So, and Scott will be there. Oh yeah, while we're there, we'll have a little discussion. Scott contacted me about America 250 and incorporating some kind of service project for the community and starting that. I'm sure he'll have more to talk about later with that as we collaborate and post those projects, probably on Just Serve, and we'll probably have some announcements going out in the newsletter. I think that's about it on my end.
Okay, thank you. As you can see, the council is busy doing things for the citizens and for to make our city better and to involve as many people as we can. I've been appointed to the library board, and we're talking about the operation of the library and what that means to us, and we'll discuss that more this evening as we get to that agenda item. Doing a lot of things with chamber support, the Chamber of Commerce. They're a great organization in our valley and do a lot of things for the people here and the businesses here. So it's great to have an opportunity to do that. The sauerkraut celebration is coming up. Nicole Bone is our chair, and she will be here soon this evening. By the time she got off work, it would take her a few minutes to get here. So we're looking forward to that celebration. We've been doing that for, what's this, our 5th year? It's our 5th year or 4th year?
We'll do a reboot. I think it'll be our 5th year, but we've done it.
Well, it's 100 and something years old. There's always some people that think that one group started it and another group came on. It's kind of fun to know the background of the sauerkraut celebration, but because this area was settled by Swiss and German individuals, sauerkraut was a big part of their lives, and so we're excited to continue that tradition. Tomorrow there's a day of service a planning group that's coming together for a day of service on 9/11, and so you'll be hearing more information about that as we get going. But we appreciate a room full of people. We appreciate you coming to our Providence City Council, and hopefully we can come up with some good solutions tonight. I'll close that portion of the meeting, and we'll go to approval of the minutes. So I would entertain a motion on the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 2026.
Okay,
I'll second it.
we have a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Great. We'll put Nicole's off until she comes. And tonight we have our chief sheriff, the big guy, is here to talk with us about the contract with the sheriff's office. And welcome, Michael Sean Barchi. We're glad that he's here. So, which of you is gonna? Are you gonna tag team it? We always like to see.
Well, I always
You're
like
here.
to be here. It's great to be able to come see you. I'm a fan of sauerkraut. I came to that the last couple of years, and I never thought that I would like that. My wife pokes me at it, and I'm a fan. It's great. And I'll be here again this year. We had a good time with it last year, so
That's
thank you
good.
for that.
We do have it for sale downstairs, so
What's that?
we do have
I'm not telling her
sauerkraut for
that.
sale.
Last year, then I know what to do with, and I like it. I'm not saying I love it. I'm going to eat it every day. She would.
Yeah.
As far as the run goes, I'm more than happy to help. I'll probably roll through it if that's what you'd like some help with. I'm not running the run, but I'm happy to roll through it and help where I can. So thank you for tonight and giving us a few minutes. Just before we get into the contracts, I just want to let you guys know we're doing a reorganization right now. Mikkel Sean Varchi here was the patrol lieutenant. I split the office into 2 bureaus now. We're getting big enough and busy enough. So congratulations. He is one of our new chief deputies, and he is over the criminal division, which would be patrol, school resource, and investigations. So we're just getting all that reorganized right now, move some of the other lieutenants around and give them some different opportunities and let them learn the whole organization. And part of all that will be reorganizing the Star Deputy program, reorganizing what patrol's responsibilities are, response times, all those things are going to be a deep dive and looked at as we move forward. So I look forward to great things. He's very well versed in the criminal division. He spent a lot of time in patrol, investigations as a supervisor, as an investigator. Schools right now, just because of some of the new state laws, are a huge thing with what's mandated and what's required, which it's all great stuff. We should have been doing a lot of that school safety stuff for a lot of years. And it's just been the last couple that the states actually looked at it, created some laws, created some other issues that we have to abide by, which we're happy to. But it's a huge undertaking as to what we're doing with the schools, and we have great contracts and discussions with the schools, and they're 100% on board to do what's right for the public safety in our schools. So it wouldn't have happened in our county the way it's going so far without Chief Deputy Barchi. He's been fantastic, and he'll be great at his new position. If I can get him out of talking acronyms all the time so we can actually understand what he says, he can go off for 20 minutes, and I have to ask him to speak English so I get a tenth of what he tells me. But he's very smart, and he's going to be a great asset to all of you and certainly to our office. So, welcome.
Thank you.
So the contract hours, tonight we're just making a presentation of what we've done in, as far as the contract goes. Last year, this is the new year for the contract. We've looked at 3-year contracts in the past, and your contract you're in right now doesn't expire until July. So we make a presentation and give you plenty of time to discuss what you want to do moving forward with your law enforcement services. I don't want to be boring and give you numbers, but I think numbers kind of give you a pretty indication of where we're at. So calls for service last year, your last contract year, we did 1,877 calls for service in Providence. This year so far, for the first 9 months, you're at 1,482, and if you just do the math out, you'll be somewhere around 1,975 calls for service in Providence. Looking through, and I think the mayor gets the report, and I think, Ryan, you get the reports. Mm-hmm. There's nothing, I mean, there's a little bit of increase in the calls for service, but there's nothing that like jumps off the page and say, oh man, we got a huge problem with that. We're seeing really across the valley, our numbers are creeping up a little bit with kind of the population, but there's nothing that reeks that we got to focus really on one thing. I think we're always going to see calls for service as the population increases. A lot of it is traffic issues. And you've all been part of traffic issues, whether it's been in Providence or Logan or anywhere you go. Traffic's a problem, just congestion all over the valley. And I don't know what the answer. So I have knocking down buildings and creating Main Street to 6 lanes and bypass roads to 9,000 west. I don't know what the answer to the corridors are going to be, but we got some smart people working on those, and hopefully some of that can be resolved some. Hours of service wise, so your contract hours were 2,370. Last year we provided 3,915. So far this year, this hours are the same, 2,370 for the first 9 months. You're at 2,635, and if you average that out through the year, it'd be about 3,510 hours of service provided in Providence. The last 3 years we worked on hours because what we're being contracted for and what we provided, there was a pretty big gap, not in just in Providence, but really valley-wide. The valley's growing, populations are growing, who can predict all those things all the time? So the last 3 years we've been working more so on getting the hours closer to what's actually being provided, and I haven't done really much of anything with the rate that costs per hour. I'm never going to come to a city and say, oh, we need to look at hours, we need to look at rate, and we're going to do increases by hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not what I've ever done and not what I ever plan to do. But I think the hours are in a good spot that's manageable for us, and I hope they're manageable for the hours that Providence wants to have. But I do got to start working on getting the hourly rate up to what our actual costs are. So just a little bit of history, not to bore you to tears with numbers. So in 2017 through 2020, the hourly rate was $50.10 an hour. What our cost is what we look at and say, what is our patrol cost? It's not investigations, it's not schools, it's not the jail. Everybody pays property taxes at some point or another. I pay property taxes in Paradise. We're always going to respond to calls for service. If you don't contract, we're still going to come to Providence for calls for service. What contracting is patrol hours that are above and beyond what your property tax dollars pay, and that's a number that's decided for by the city for what you want extra coverage in your community. By doing that, every city gets to kind of share resources, and we get to hire more people, and our response times are better. But there's not a clock that says, "Oh, Providence is over, so we're stopped." That's not how it works. We track hours more so I know that we're giving you the hours that you're paying for, and that we're providing a good service to the community. In 2021 through 25, excuse me. 21 we did an increase to 52.35, and I kept that there through the 2025 contract. But over the next 3 years, I need to do an increase to get the hourly rate up. And over the next 3 years, we'll get to $68 an hour in increments year to year. So what that means for Providence is last year's contract was $132,720. Before we did the last hourly increase, it was $118,311. If you want to keep the same hours and move to the next rate, it would be $142,200, and it would increase incrementally. By the end of the third year contract, it'd be $161,60, and that's just leaving the hours the same but moving the hourly rate up to what our actual costs are. Some of those sound like pretty big increases, but the county's been great to my office to get a wage and hourly rate that our employees, that we can attract employees and we can retain employees. It was, when was it, 3 years ago? At one point, we were down like 16 people, sometimes more. And the rules of engagement, for lack of a better term, in trying to hire law enforcement is everybody's got the same need that we do. And other agencies in our area, Ogden City, offers and pays. We lost some to Ogden, and they were getting $10 and $12 an hour more to go to work for Ogden. They didn't. They could stay in Cache Valley. They could drive their patrol cars home to Cache Valley. They could go work, get that, and never really leave the valley or leave their home. And we lost a bunch of people. Brigham City, of all people, matched what Ogden was doing, and they got 2 or 3 from us just to go to work in Brigham for $10 or $12 an hour, and never moved from Lewiston, never moved from Providence, never moved from Hiram, and drive their cars back and forth to work. And that's a problem for the county. Our people, we want to keep them. We got great staff. We want to be able to attract great staff when we have an opening. So some big increases have come for our wages over the last few years, just so we could keep our staff we have here. The county, like a lot of cities do and counties do, is we have a market that we compare to. And there's 15 or 17 agencies like size that's in that market. It's like Weber County, Layton City, Smithfield, everything local we certainly compare to. We're not looking at Salt Lake County or Davis County. That's not our same market. The Wasatch Front is not our market. You can pay me enough to go work at the prison, and you can pay me enough to go work for Salt Lake City PD for double the wages. It's the quality of life thing. We're certainly not leading the pack in the market that we compare to, but we're not at the end of the pack either. I think we found a pretty good sweet spot where our people feel valued. They're staying here. Last year we lost 4 or 5 people. 3 of those were to retirements. And that you got to congratulate and shake their hands and thank them for 25, 30 years of service. And hopefully the ones that we hired to replace them will be great. They will stay 25 or 30 years. So really with the hourly rate increase, that's really what I'm trying to just catch up to is the wages. Our operating cost, our office, they don't change very much. I mean, our operating expenses aren't any really different than Providence's. Gas costs more all the time. Tires cost more. Cars cost more. Those increases come, and they're partially built into that. But the increases over the hourly rate is really to catch up with the wage piece. So it's more square on what everybody's paying. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for us. Sir.
Sheriff, just out of curiosity, how many staff members do you have?
Like deputies?
Deputies, yeah.
Yeah, we have 124 sworn deputies. Half of those are in the jail division. That is our biggest division. We have 35 in patrol. We have, 12 or 13 in the schools and about a dozen that are in probation. So, but they're all sworn staff. So if, God forbid, something horrible happened in Providence and we needed 40 deputies here, we can have 40 deputies here. So 124 total for the office. Patrol, the criminal division is about half of that. That's patrol, school resource, investigations.
And how many communities do you contractually serve?
12.
Ours? 12?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah, 12. And the school district. I say cities and then the 13 if you add the school district.
Okay.
We also have some contracts with the Forest Service. They don't pay anything basically, but that side of the entire valley and half of that side is all in the Forest Service. So they give us $20,000 a year to cover the Forest Service, which theoretically they don't have to do. It's a little measure of good faith, I guess, is more than anything. So with the Forest Service and the cities and the school, it's 14 total.
Okay.
I've seen your patrol reports, and I just wondered if it's possible to break out in the report how many of the hours are spent on calls and how many are spent on patrol.
Oh, we could absolutely break that down for you.
That would be very helpful.
Yep.
How does our contract hours compare with like Nibley and other cities similar to us?
Okay, sorry, I was writing.
All right.
So,
No, that's okay.
just what you got like right around you. Nibley, we used to be the same. It was kind of when it was split out. I think they went up a few hundred hours more than what Providence does. Hiram pays for 5,600 hours, and they take about almost exactly the same calls for service in Hiram as we take in Providence. And it's just really a decision on response times and visibility and how much they want us in their communities. River Heights, I think, I don't know the hours, dollar-wise, I think I'm not sure what they're at. They're like 18,000 or
They're quite a bit smaller. River
quite a
Heights-
bit
but
smaller.
Nibley,
River Heights is,
there are peers in the south here, so I was just kind of curious.
yeah. Hiram, I know they're, because I just got down their meeting, and they're at 5,650 hours is what they contract for.
I have a question. You indicated that there's kind of a set coverage that we have even without a contract.
Yeah, so
Explain that.
Yeah, every one of us pay property taxes.
Right.
And property taxes go to the county. There's things that as the sheriff that I have to do, whether we have a patrol car or not. By law, I have to have a jail. I have to serve civil papers. I have to be a bailiff, and I have to investigate felony cases, and I have to respond to violent calls for service. So if we didn't contract with anybody, what that would leave us, it would leave us the jail fully staffed. It would have a couple of investigators, and we may have 15 patrolmen to cover the entire valley. I mean, so that's what the contracting does, is all those things are going to be done whether there's a contract or not. What the contracting is just for patrol hours, more above and beyond what tax dollars pay for, the things that I have to do as the sheriff, what our tax dollars are collected to pay for.
I was looking at the hours that you said earlier, the estimated 3,510 hours for this year. And I thought, okay, so full-time employee is 2,080 hours minus 2 weeks of vacation time. So 2,000 hours. So that's about 1.75 worth equivalent of full-time hours of people in Providence. That means you've got some people here for a while. Now that when you calculate hours, I would assume that I look at the calls and the different things there. What qualifies as hours to Providence? Them being in Providence for a call, or I mean, they could be working on their paperwork for something that just happened in Millville, but they're sitting in a church parking lot and working on
Yeah.
their
That's a-
reports. But they're here.
That's a great question, and I'll tell you how old school we are to keep track of hours.
Okay.
I wish there was a way we could do GPS or something, but it's just not feasible. So we still go old school. We have what's called a daily log, and if they come to Providence and they take a call and they're here for 2 hours, they write and we have a code. Every city's got a code. Like from this time to this time, Providence, this case number. If they just come and patrol for 2 hours, it's like this time to this time, a code number, Providence, and that's where I can break out the things. We know how much patrol time is versus call for service time. The beauty with contracting pieces, you're right, is it's 1,880 hours is what you get somebody minus their vacation and all that. That's really what a full-time employee gets you. The beauty with contracting, everybody, all the cities kind of being part of that, is you don't have to hire 10 people. If you need 10 deputies in Providence, you're going to get 10 deputies in Providence. If you need one, you get one. We just need patrol time and visibility, we can do that. We just have a bigger pool to draw from depending on the needs of the city. And I think everybody gets to share resources, including the county, unincorporated county. I mean, you look at Cache County and more like, what is unincorporated county? I mean, you got one end, you got Cove and anything north of Richmond. We got quite a bit west of Logan, and we got out past my house in Providence. I have to respond to those every bit as much, but we probably don't spend enough time in those areas because we focus our staff and our schedules and our people where the calls for service are. I mean, our whole point is public safety, and we want response times fast. We know where the calls for service are. On the south end, they stretch between Providence and the south end of Hiram, between Highway 165 and Highway 8991. On the south end, that is the bulk of our calls for service, and that's where we focus our staff to.
So just to circle back on Scott's, Councilmember Campbell's question, is there a baseline of what we get from our property taxes specifically, or you're just the specific services, but that's based on calls?
I don't know if I've ever figured out or known what is like a basic line of service for like how many hours that is. I mean, it's easy to say is like our portion of property tax, the jail costs $8 million a year to run. I mean, property taxes say, well, there's property. The sheriff's office portion of property taxes, and I don't know how far it gets split out between everybody else, but whatever portion I get, it's $8 million a year to run the jail. It's $6 million a year to run patrol. Is that 2 deputies or is that 10? I guess how would I split that out and determine the cost? If I determine the cost of what I have to provide by statute, it's the jail, it's court bailiffs, it's serving civil papers, and it's having investigators that can investigate felonies.
Would you say that's 60% of your budget that covers all of those, or more than that?
I don't know what the total property tax of my budget is from the county. My budget's about $29 million total. And some of that comes from contracts, some of it comes from grants, some of it comes through contracts with the Department of Corrections because we house their inmates for them. Some of it comes from contracts with U.S. Marshals because we house their inmates for them. Some of it comes from Idaho because I house some of their inmates for them. The jail can hold 360 people. We have 126 county inmates. So we have a lot of beds that are open, and my thought with that is let's fill up the beds. And if we have people who are willing to pay those contract rates and it can offset the cost to all of us, then that's why I can kind of keep the rate for everything else is like, it's 30 million. I bring in 8 or 9 million in revenues. I mean, other agencies would look at that and think, well, for me to pay patrol, I got to buy a car, I got to buy this, I got to buy that. It's $150 an hour. I can spread the cost out of just what the revenues that we bring in. And mainly it's the jail is the revenue. And we don't have to do that. I could say, send all those contract inmates out. We can close half the jail and say we have 126 inmates, and then it is 100% taxpayer funded. But if I can bring contracts in that help offset that cost, it spreads that it spreads that out through the whole office and keeps the operation cost for the whole office lower. I don't know if I don't know if I've ever been told the number is like, Sheriff, this is your budget and this is the property tax piece. I've never asked that question and I've never been told that question, so I can't give you a great answer on that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So it feels like kind of the answer is your legally required services taxes kind of cover that?
Yeah,
Or
so
do
I think
misunderstand your.
yeah, so my budget's $29 million for the sheriff's office budget. So I bring in mainly from the jail, like revenue that comes into the county is probably $8 million. So I guess theoretically tax dollars that come to my office are about $20 million. But I don't know what pools it comes from. I don't know how the county splits it up, but in a almost $30 million budget, $8.5 million is coming from revenues that I can bring in mainly from the jail to offset some of those costs
From outside sources.
from outside sources. And we get federal grants, we get a lot of things to do different things. So I do the best I can to keep those revenues so we can keep the cost and spread those costs out across the office to keep, we want everybody happy. We want to provide a good service, and I'll keep doing that until the jail fills up with their own inmates, which I don't foresee that happening for
Let's hope not.
ever. It's going, actually, our county inmate numbers are going down some way. We hit this COVID spike. Court kind of came to a halt for a few years, and now all those cases are kind of getting back through the court system, and we've kind of seen the sentencing and seen the spikes of that, and now we're getting back down to the number that we would expect to see. So there's a lot of room in the jail that we can keep those contract beds open, and as we need our own beds, we just send the contracts back and we keep them for our own, because that's what the jail was built for. It was built for our inmates, not contract inmates. But there is a lot of room to work for a long time with what we already have.
Are you full?
No. Well, yeah, we could do about 30 more, and we're working on that too. But of 350 beds, 126 are our own,
Yeah.
and the rest are contracts that I brought in. And I hope we don't get to 360 of our own. That will be a bad
No,
will be a bad day for all
that
of
would
us.
say bad things about Cache Valley.
Wouldn't be good.
So, Sheriff, how many meals do you serve a day and all the free TV? Yeah, I want to look into it.
3 meals a day.
Wow, that's
The
pretty
Weather
good.
Channel and one news channel,
Is that it?
pretty much.
Is it worth it?
Well, never mind.
Yeah. Well, you can come.
No, I'll stay on the outside.
It's pretty cheap.
Well, thank you for the work that your people do here, and they're always very kind when we ask them to do things. So thank you.
Just for Mayor and Ryan. So as I get the reorganization thing put together with Lieutenant Barchi and what the rest of the changes are, I will get those contact informations out to
Good.
you so you know who those contacts are. We're redoing how the Star Deputy system works. Assignments may change, they may not change, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and he's going to focus on that piece and make assignments and some training that's going to come with it. So we got a lot of new staff. They don't understand a lot of that, and we're catching them up.
If we can provide information or a tour or whatever,
Oh, that'd be great.
that
And if-
that would be helpful, I'm sure, to them
100%.
and to us.
Yeah. If likewise, if this group ever wants to tour our office and see the jail and see what I'm talking about with numbers and stuff, I'm always open. If Mayor or Ryan, you guys can let me know, and I'm happy to provide that same information back to you as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Hal, do you have a question?
Sure.
Back in the day, some years back,
We better have you come to the.
I'll trade you places. Oh, he's got a microphone.
Hal Hansen. Been attending these meetings for a long time. Everybody knows me. Some years back, I was told that inmates were charged so much a day for being in the jail. And I'm also under the impression that that stopped. What's the situation there with that? How does?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So he asked, like, it used to be in the day that an inmate was charged so much money to be in the jail every day. It was called the Pay for Stay program. I got rid of the Pay for Stay program in 2017. And the reason for that is you get somebody who's in jail for 365 days and it's $100 a day. I kept getting calls from the family that says, "Oh, I got to get my son out of jail and I'm going to do a second on my house and pay the fine." I'm like, that's not what this was made for. It's for families to suffer for somebody's actions. And on the books, the collection rate on the books, we had about, on paper, probably $2 million on the books that were never getting collected. So it is a little bit of a smoke and mirrors, and it was before my time, but counties have to have a jail. You know, I mean, we're all going to pay for that. I'm going to pay for it long before I was here. I'm going to pay for it long before after I retire, and that's just one of those things that taxes are going to have to pay for. What we do get out of the inmates, though, is we don't hire kitchen staff. We hire a company, and they have one person in the kitchen staff, and inmates run the kitchen staff. We don't hire people to do laundry. They do the laundry. We don't hire janitors to clean inside the jail or mow the lawn. I mean, we do get, they enjoy it. It gives them something, and it's a service to us to kind of pay for their costs.
That's good.
Did I answer your question? Thank you. Thank you. Anything else I can
I think that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you. Just go before you say an acronym. Nobody will understand.
We know those.
Thank you. Okay, Nicole, are you ready?
Ready as ever, huh?
Yeah.
So, it's Sauerkraut Days time again, and I'm so excited, as usual, to try and get you all to help. This year, first of all, I'm so excited to see you sitting up here, Scott.
Thanks.
All of you guys. We already are starting having meetings, and I'm seeing lots of new faces in this room that we would love to recruit. No, I know Danny. Anyway, we would love more help this year. This is becoming quite the deal. It's pretty amazing to see how the growth that's happened in the last several years. And it's awesome. So we would love more help. Those of you that are watching online in this room, we love volunteers. So the dates.
Nicole, can I just say something? One of the goals of this celebration is to involve the community and have us working together. We're not doing the celebration because we're making money, but we're doing the celebration so we can work together with one another. And so we're looking for volunteers. There are all kinds of ways to volunteer. You can spend your whole life doing this, or you can spend a few hours and help us out. But we want people working together and coming together as Providence citizens.
Absolutely. And it's amazing. I mean, the 10 years that I've been involved, it's an incredible opportunity to serve and to see people coexisting in our community. And we bring people from all of the community here in Cache Valley and beyond. It's been pretty awesome to watch. This year, we just like George and I were discussing, we're kind of switching up a few things this year. And we would love your input. So any ideas is welcome. This year, we're planning on doing 2,000 pounds of cabbage, preparing 2,000 pounds. Last year was 1,400. Scott was there cutting the cabbage.
Oh, fun.
It was. We had a great time.
It was awesome, wasn't it, George? It was great.
So those of you in this room, it's pretty epic. It's pretty awesome. Bridgerland College, we're there for several hours cutting up cabbage.
We're going to be doing it again. So
yes.
Any more volunteers want to come cut that?
It'll be in June this year. We, I want to give a shout out to him. Bear River Bottling. We could not do this without Bear River Bottling. It has been incredible. I mean, and for him as well. Sauerkraut for him is huge now in his operations, and he travels all over doing events and shows with his hot sauce and things like that. But sauerkraut now is very lucrative for him. So it's been great. As far as the schedule goes, we are still planning on sticking to, in the past several years, we did it all week long. this year we are trying to do just the 2 days as well, Friday and Saturday. The parade Friday evening, down Main Street, same style, same
Had a great turnout last year.
great
It was
turnout.
great.
Yeah, it was awesome. Friday night, the gathering in the park will still stay the same. We have a couple members, Carrie and Janelle, that were at the last meeting that are phenomenal and have already been on board for volunteering for the movie in the park. We had several ideas for movies. I think my thoughts are Cool Runnings, but anyway, we have a few thoughts on that. Next Meters again is one of our top sponsors this year again. They are sponsoring the drone show. And we'll still do the baseball game as well. Saturday during the day, we are planning on bringing in a large stage setup and having multiple performances throughout the day to get people more involved, and they're on site all day. So Ridgeline Booster Club will be our main food vendor this year again. I think it's great to allow that to happen, and it's very great. It's a wonderful opportunity for us too, because we are not having to pay out money. So for that, we are providing the sauerkraut for that, and it will probably just be brats this year and not the hamburgers. That was, talking to John Booth, I think it will just be brats. So. And
Which days is it? You said Friday and Saturday, but make
yes,
sure that you.
August 10th through the 15th, the 14th and the 15th being our main events. We will still plan on doing the pickleball tournament, the fun run. We might eliminate the 10K this year and just do the fun run, the mile, and the 5K. And last year, I believe our numbers on that were 150, probably 130 registered, and there was some walk-ins and things like that. So it was awesome. Bear Welding will probably Bear Welding was a huge sponsor last year in donating all the medals, and they'll most likely be a sponsor again this year as well. Yeah, hoping to be a sponsor again. Living Tree Medical again is our top sponsor this year again. They will be doing that this year as well. We will have a skate park demonstration, competition, something will be happening there as well. Zach Shepard with Directive will be involved with that. I received a message from Shane Hansen this morning, and I had to look it up to verify because I thought it was pretty great. 2026 is the year of the cabbage. So the world has been sleeping on the benefits of eating this great vegetable. So thanks to Shane for letting us know that it's the year of the cabbage. So we're going to be doing something with that. If there's any ideas as far as things that we'll be doing a few new things, a new show, a new something. We've brought in the trampoline show before. We've done different things like that. So we'll be bringing in something, maybe a hypnotist, who knows, right? We'll bring in something fun. But if something that we started a few years ago was doing a grand marshal for each year. That has been pretty cool to see. Gary Milburn was our grand marshal last year, and like that's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing to do is just to go present to them that they're the grand marshal and put the sign in their yard. Like it's a big deal. And we will be opening it up to the citizens as well, probably in May, that people can be nominated. I think that's fun. Again, something else to involve the citizens of Providence to be able to nominate someone. Last year we didn't get a huge response, but we got some, and I think that will just continue to grow. And so we'll start thinking of nominations for that. If you have someone in mind, that would be great. Anything else, George?
John Mayer offered you a lecture.
Oh, yes. In fact, we need to get with the radio station as well and do that. But yeah, John Mayer, he will be doing that. I forgot about that. Who's that? George. The historic
that?
preservation.
Who's that?
He is Bear River Bottling,
Oh, okay.
and he is remarkable.
He's all things sauerkraut.
very much so, and his process. Those of you that were there, cutting, he's incredible the way he does it. So, the Historic Preservation Commission, we are doing, again, we'll have tours. We have decided to continue that Saturday, correct? Yeah. So that will be Saturday. And yeah, do you guys have any questions? Last year, I do have, last year we had talked about doing a chalk art festival or chalk art
Competition.
Competition, contest, maybe doing it a few days before. Last year we ran into the sprinkler system possibly affecting that, the schedule, but we're going to move things around a little bit in the park as far as the layout goes. What are your thoughts?
Do we have somebody to run that this year?
We do not.
Okay.
So
we need ideas of somebody
Yeah.
that could do that.
Scott,
Yeah.
just tease.
Did we figure out a spot to do it without it being interfered by the water?
So I believe we're going to be shuffling where we put vendors, especially the food vendors. The generators are, I mean, they're a constant thing. It's hard to get around the food vendors and generators and all that. But moving them possibly to the south side of the park, on the walking path, possibly.
I was going to say that'd be a good idea to use the walking path. We have good trails over there, and we could use the walking paths for the art. People could take a stroll.
Well, that's the problem we run into with the sprinklers and things like that. We were possibly thinking of doing the chalk art inside where we put the food vendors. I don't know.
We may not have water to turn on the sprinklers anyway.
You might do the new
But
path
that's a-
by Thompson Field, won't have sprinklers on that direction, and it's a 8-foot wide path. It's brand new.
Is that by the pickleball?
It goes from first
So,
south.
so from
the
pickleball to
pickleball.
first south.
Oh,
It's
you know what,
8 to
that's
10
great.
feet wide. Sprinklers on the inside. It's not going to spray over those, and those are brand new. Just put in sprinkler systems, so it might be a location that would be new,
I like that
newish,
idea.
and not necessarily main route, but certainly would attract some. But
well, and that to me is the goal, is to bring people throughout the whole entire park, right?
Sure.
To show off our
So-
new pickleball and to show off that new field and things like that. So no, I think that's great.
so anyway, I thought there
Good thought, Ryan.
anyway.
That's good.
we might have some other thoughts. So,
No.
So you're open for people to come forward and say, we'd love to help. So newly retired people?
I can. Yeah, I was gonna say Anyway,
Nicole,
yes.
this is the 250th year of America.
Mhm.
And sauerkraut has probably predated America, as it for
100%,
sure. It
yes.
started with the Chinese. The Chinese used to put sauerkraut in barrels with salt, so that their sailors would not get scurvy as they sailed on the ocean.
Hey, George, I'm thinking he could speak about sauerkraut too. What do you think?
No.
That's really good. I've done my research, and you're spot on. So
Anyway, so another interesting thing, they were talking about the history of sauerkraut. In about 1973 or 74, I was involved for many years with the sauerkraut dinner when it was Providence First Ward and Providence Second Ward. We fed as high as 1,200 people
yes.
in those dinners, and they came from all over. It just has a real tradition here in Providence. I'm so glad to see this continuing. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I stole his recipes because he had them up on, and I took photos and I made sauerkraut with using those recipes. Oh, and I still got, especially some of the hot stuff. It doesn't get eaten with the hot dogs quite as fast as the gourmet, but yeah, that's
Well, for
good.
those of you in this room, he has 3 different varieties. he has gone the old school, well, which in a lot of German descent
tradition.
uses the caro seed. So
Yes.
his does have, and then I believe he does have a traditional Providence that he does not use that in, but it's pretty.
Right. The
he's a cool-
traditional is
amazing.
just plain.
Yeah.
The gourmet has carrots, onions, and caraway seeds in it. And the hot has that same thing with the caraway, except we put jalapenos in ours. He uses habanero. I couldn't stand habanero, but jalapenos turned out really good.
Okay, so you're
She
gonna
has
be in the
his number.
cabbage.
You can call him and tell him.
Oh, I was down there the first year he made it.
Oh, yes,
and-
yeah, you were
and
our main
worked-
guy.
No, not main, but I was down there with him.
Yeah.
But no, sauerkraut is just a fun time of year.
Yeah.
It really
Well, and
is.
for a long time it was lost for making it because of the food safety
The
and all that.
turkeys.
So I really Bear River Bottling has given that the opportunity to bring it back. So we have John to thank for that. It's been
Yeah.
awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, 2026, it's going to be awesome. He did bring up the 250th year. We are going to incorporate that, I believe, in the drone show as well. But we are kind of letting Next Meters just do their thing because it's such an incredible thing that they sponsor that for us every year.
It's very expensive.
Yeah, it is very expensive, and it has gotten even more expensive. So anyway, any other questions? We will be doing a new shirt this year, especially now I know that it's the year of the cabbage. So look forward to that.
When is the next meeting?
April 27th, Monday night at 6:30 here at the city. Probably
And any of you that would like to come, we would welcome you.
So once we, probably starting in May, I like to do the meetings at the park, at Zollinger Park. It gives us an opportunity to fill the layout, what we want to do, things like that. So once it gets a little bit warmer, probably in May, we'll start doing the meetings at the park.
So
That way those of
the
us that
meeting
have
will be
kids-
here then.
Yes, the meeting will be here on April 27th. And if you have any questions, you can get a hold of me or online, Providence City Sauerkraut Days on Instagram and Facebook. So,
Okay.
anyway,
Thank you, Nicole.
you.
We love your enthusiasm.
Mayor, can I
Yes.
ask you a question?
Yes.
If you have more than two councilmen there, is that a problem?
No.
At that meeting?
Sauerkraut meeting, yeah.
Talk to each other.
We just can't talk about anything city related, but we can socialize with each other.
The sauerkraut, that's socialized. Okay. I just wondered.
Good question.
You know, we could advertise that as a public meeting and have y'all there and have 100% attendance.
Whatever you'd like to do. I was just,
Or we could just do shifts.
you do that when you make the sauerkraut.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about. You're talking about this
The meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the meeting.
Sorry, this is Blake Moore, our
He just called me.
representative. Yeah.
That was my call. He's busy tonight.
He's got a town hall meeting going on.
Yeah, his robocall is busy.
Okay, we'll close the reports and presentations. Information is always good. And again, we're looking for volunteers to help us because the goal is for us to be together and to meet together. We don't have any public hearings tonight. So item number 4 is ordinance 06-2026, rezone of parcel 02-092-0049. City Council review, discuss, and may take action on an ordinance regarding a rezone request of parcel 02-092-0049. It's a 3-acre parcel located in the general area of 370 North, 100 West. Property is currently zoned agricultural. The applicant is requesting an R16. Planning Commission held a public hearing on April 8th and recommended that the city approve the application request. So, Scarlett, if you want to do your presentation, and then Danny will give you an opportunity to do yours. And we will take public comment, but I ask that you not repeat what someone else has said, and we'll give you 3 minutes for your comments. Thank you.
Okay, I think most of you probably watched this during the planning commission, so I'm just going to kind of summarize it. Whenever you make a decision on a land use item, we look at the findings of facts, the conclusions, and then if there are any conditions, so that when our decisions go, if someone is concerned about them, we have good support as to why you made that decision that you made. Couple of the things that the applicant is here, Danny is here. In his statement, he put that the parcel is under contract with the condition that the property is rezoned residential. The purpose of this rezone is to subdivide the land and build affordable single-family housing. We look at our general plan and the objectives that are listed up there. We also look at our moderate income housing portion of the general plan. We look at the findings, or we look at Utah code, and you'll notice the numbers, excuse me, the numbers on this have changed. It used to be 10.9A for like ever since 2007, and now it's 10.20. But anyway, the legislative body, as the body authorized to weigh policy considerations, may enact a land use regulation. So that's you. You have the right to divide the territory over which you have jurisdiction into districts of a number and area that it considers number, shape, and area that it considers appropriate to carry out the purposes of Utah Code Title 10, Chapter 20. Used to be some laws about sizing of zones. Not anymore, not for the last probably 10 years. So you can create zones to meet the needs that you feel like will best serve your public. The Planning Commission completed their step of reviewing and making a recommendation, and before they made that recommendation, they held a public hearing. We look, as I say, we look at the general plan. Our general plan is, and our master plans are explained a little bit in our findings of fact. We also look at the use chart, the areas, or the regulations for sensitive areas, and the area regulations. And there's a chart towards the end of the report that shows the comparison between an ag zone and an R16 zone in both uses and area regulations. So the conclusions, we do have the city divided into zoning districts. The city council is the legislative body for Providence City. I didn't update the report to say that the Planning Commission has, but the Planning Commission has reviewed, held a public hearing, and make a recommendation. The zoning districts include the ag and the R16. The process that we're following is consistent with our city code requirements. And then we talk about the general plan, the framework. Now, in the general plan, there was a time that we hoped back in 2020 is when that was adopted, right?
Adopted in 2020, worked on for 3 years.
Yes. And we had really hoped that we could get this property and some of the surrounding property for park space. Unfortunately, that didn't seem to be in the cards for us, but our general plan map does show that that was anticipated. We wanted that for park space. We have continued, as you mentioned earlier, or one of you, Carrie, maybe talking about Grandview Park. Ryan has been very diligent in pursuing park space and coming to you with different opportunities. And so if you want, Ryan can give you a list of what we've expanded, because it's a pretty good one.
I think we've nearly doubled our park space in the last, since the plan was adopted.
Yes, we
Oh.
have been very active. And I will say, there's been one that we had earnest money on, and they said, never mind. There's another one that we had the check ready to go and the contract ready to go, and they said, never mind. We have tried and tried. We haven't been successful in everything, but we certainly have tried. And when we found property owners that are willing and are willing to work with the municipality, the regulations that we have to follow, Ryan and you as the council have been really good to acquire that property. So we are looking for property. It's just that it hadn't worked out right in this particular spot. However, also in our general plan, it talks about a framework map, and it says this preferred scenario for this area is neighborhood residential development. So there are two different sources in our general plan that you can consider. This would support moderate income housing if the houses are kept within the price range. With our master plans, because of the master plans, we are able to create a section on there in those plans for an impact fee projects. We have to declare which projects are eligible for impact fees, and we have done that. And so in order for people to meet our master plan requirements for parks and water and sewer, and they all pay impact fees at the time the person gets a zoning clearance for a house. So the developer doesn't pay those, but as the individuals move into the city and get their building permit for their primary structure, that's when they pay the impact fees. We also have a stormwater master plan. The developer will have to come up with a stormwater plan and put that in. It'll have to be approved by our city engineer, so that will take care of the stormwater impact. And then I'm missing one. Oh, the water rights. We have a 40-year plan to acquire water. It's required by the state to have that plan, and we've got that. And as the development comes in, we have them for residential development. There's actually a formula that they use for commercial development. There's an explanation of how to figure that. But people that come in, this is the developer that does this part. They will either pay a fee in lieu or dedicate actual water right or dedicate water shares. So we acquire source from the developer as their development is approved and before they can record their final plat. We do have a water impact fee, as I said earlier. That's different. This water right is to acquire source water. The water impact fee is to expand the actual water system that delivers you the water. So the reason that's the reason there's two different methods of acquisition. And then this property also has some challenges. It has some wetlands and it has some higher water table and some open water, and the developer is very familiar with that and understands the requirements that are within our ordinance. And if the property is, well, no matter what the property is zoned, whoever does stuff on it has to take this sensitive area serious and has to develop or improve the property with the requirements that are prescribed. Where it's got some wetlands, wetlands are not under our jurisdiction, and so we follow the Corps' rules on wetlands. And the developer will have to get those things from the Corps, and we make sure that is taken care of. Interesting note, we don't enforce that either, since it's not under our jurisdiction. We make everybody, the developer, aware of what the Corps, or the developer makes us aware of what the Corps is requiring. We see that in the initial development that it's done appropriately, but we are not the ones that monitor that as we monitor it to the point that the developer finishes everything. And then when the homes are being built, we still watch that. And then once that's gone and we're out of that construction phase, then it pretty much falls on the neighbors to see if somebody's doing something wrong and let the Corps know. We would do it if we had jurisdiction, but we do not. And then, as I said, there are the charts in the back that show the comparisons. So the condition, we've met condition number 2, which is that the city council, or that the planning commission held the public hearing and made the recommendation to the city council. You will meet condition number 1, whether you deny it or accept it. Either way, you'll meet condition number 1, even if you continue it, because then it'll continue and then you'll make a final decision at some point and meet condition number 1. The condition number 3, the applicant shall meet all applicable city, state, and federal laws, codes, rules. Approval by the city of any application submitted or paperwork does not alleviate the owners and or their agents from their responsibility to understand and conform to local, state, and federal laws. Providence City's approval is not intended to and cannot be construed to allow any laws to be violated. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer. If not, I will sit down and you can talk to the person that really knows their stuff.
Different expertise. Any questions? Thanks, Scarlett.
Okay.
Oh, do you have one?
I was just going to ask, you said that the Corps of Engineers, we don't enforce.
They do. If they receive a complaint, or if one of their people notices something, they certainly could, but it's
But
not.
generally it just comes from a resident saying, hey, there's a problem here. Contact them. First they complain to the city.
Yes.
And the city says, Corps of Engineers. And then they go, okay.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I
how it
understand.
works.
Thanks.
Yep.
Are there already water rights attached to the parcel, or is that something that needs to be acquired? I know you said they need to be acquired, but
I'm not sure if there's water with this or not, because even if there, well, it depends how the deed worked. But water in Utah, it all belongs to the state, but a water right is like a property right. So it can, in a lot of cases, it can be sold independently of the property. So while there may be water associated with this, it may not be a condition of this sale. That's a private matter that we don't really get into, other than we want them to legally acquire water somewhere or pay the fee in lieu for us to be able to acquire water somewhere. So, which Ryan has worked with our water attorneys, and we've really tried to keep up on that. And I think Ryan's done a great job with the water rights that we have, working with the irrigation companies and the state engineer to make sure that we have a good place for our source water for now and in the future.
do most developers go that route, the pay in lieu?
You know, it can vary. I mean, I think we've had the last development had some that contribute water rights, and then we had some that have paid fee in lieu, and then we use those fee in lieu to have drilled our water well, to work on some of the be able to use that water to get more water. So and all of our water rights are to all of our well sources, and then we have additional water rights up to the canyon. So yeah, we utilize both the fee in lieu and the water rights, and we like that both are options because we utilize them in different ways to help our water system.
And it really does just depend on what the developer's circumstance are, which direction they go.
Sorry, Scarlett, more questions. On page 6 of the analysis, there's not really a key for the map. Can you explain what all the different colors are?
Oh. Green is a fire code, and it's a minimal wildland fire area. The blue, or the the line with the blue dots, that is an irrigation line. The dark blue, excuse me, is the open water. And in the, what would be the northeast corner, that blue that's kind of speckled, that is the
Floodplain.
wetland.
Yeah.
That's the wetland. The floodplain, actually, this, even though you would think it would be, this property doesn't show actual floodplain on it. But they still have to make sure that they take care of the groundwater and that their development is aware of that. And
What's the black?
the gray,
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up. I think it's another one of the fire colors, but I'll have to look it up for sure for you.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, when we run it, it pulls all those, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll have to look one up really quick.
Thank you.
Okay.
Danny?
Thank you, Scarlett. She is an expert. She does a good job. So, yeah, thank you for
Name?
your time. Oh, Danny McFarland. Sorry. Thank you for your time. So, yeah, my business, Stack Built, we're the applicant. We would be the developer and the builder on these. And so the idea is to really hit a market area that is not really, that doesn't exist in Providence. We'd like to, on any given home that we build, like the cost of land is 25 to 30% of the final purchase price of the home. And so the idea would be to get the NR6 so that we could, get smaller lots. The idea would be 12 lots. Kind of our concept that we have would be a PUD with 12 lots and preserve about 3/4 of an acre with a pond. The pond would not be touched. So, I think it would be very nice. I mean, I think a lot of the comments from the citizens, related to the pond and kind of the water areas, and so those would be, preserved. Really the idea would be to get, your land costs down so that you could get your house costs down, try to achieve, high 400,000 to low 500,000 on a house, a nice, 2-car, 2-story, because basements won't really work here. The houses would be, the size of the lots would be similar to Brookside Village, which, I lived in Brookside Village for a lot of years. And Dave, I think you're still there, right? And similar to the senior housing development just to the east. So there's similar uses and similar house sizes and lots in this area. We're well aware of the challenges of the property but we I'm a longtime resident. I want to try to make Providence good, and I feel like our past projects speak for themselves. Used to make sauerkraut with Brent back in the day, and luckily we never killed anybody. So
Survived.
everybody survived. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just I realize this is just one of the steps, and PUD would be the next, and it's a process. But we want to do a nice project that, I think, young families that maybe are in a townhome and want to stay in Providence, and this would probably be the next step for them, this type of house. And so I think it's important to attract families like that to Providence, and so that our age doesn't get older and older and older, and we don't attract the younger families, because it is expensive in Providence. So that's kind of the reasoning and kind of the summary. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Questions?
I just have a question. Where you are suggesting a PUD, what would individual homeowners be able to contribute to the decision on the style of the home, or would that be run by CCNRs?
Yeah, I mean, we would build the home, so more of a spec or a built to we'd probably have a house ready to build, and they could make decisions on colors, on exterior, finishes on the inside. Is that kind of what you're asking?
But the style would be all the same.
I mean, I don't think every house would be the same. I think there'd be a variation, but yeah, it would not be cookie cutter. I can tell you that. We'd want to vary it throughout the 12 houses. Yeah.
would there be a way for someone who bought the home to make, like, instead of granite countertops, they could have another countertop that maybe is cheaper? Is there a way for them to cut the cost down?
Yeah. I mean, the idea is we would list these available, and if we pre-sell a house, like that would be a decision for people to make. Yeah, they could
That would cut costs.
choose their fixtures, they could choose their flooring, their the size of the house would have some different sizes. Like, yeah, there's a lot of options, and so
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have any current samples of what the exteriors or different elevations would look like?
Not in these particular, like a 2-story. We are starting a 2-story right now up in the Knoll subdivision. That's a slab on grade. It's 2,200 or 2,300 square feet, and it's has 4 bedrooms. It's nice. Main levels, just living space and nice kitchen and area. But the exterior on that is a mixture of siding and some brick and some stucco. So I think the exterior, to the mayor's point, would probably be dictated a little bit by the buyers.
Sure.
I think all materials would be kind of open on the table. So
Okay.
maybe not metal siding. Nobody does metal siding, but
Oh, yes, there are people that do
Do
metal
they?
siding.
Okay.
Well, Alex's house has metal.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's maybe a little different than
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine has metal.
Is that metal?
Yeah.
I
Is
have
it?
corrugated iron over my windows.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. We're gonna add it to the palette. Okay.
Come and take a look. You'll see.
Okay. Any other questions?
There might be more
Okay.
as we continue, but thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Mayor,
Yes.
I have the answer to Janelle, and I misspoke. It's not in the floodplain, but there is what they call a flood buffer, which the county just notifies people they're within 100 feet of a floodway or a floodplain area. The brown is Scotch thistle. Noxious weeds are in that area, so that would be nice to, well, no, actually, that one little corner they'll clean up. The other little corner belongs to somebody else. And then the black is not. It's nothing. There's no code for black. So
Well, that's the non-coded area.
that's the non-coded area.
The non-sensitive area.
So is the light blue got to be mitigated?
The light blue, well, it depends what the developer chooses to do. If he wants to disturb it, then he would have to mitigate it. But if
Mitigate.
he works around it, he has to make sure he has it delineated and that the Corps approves of what it is. But then, if he doesn't disturb it, then he doesn't have to mitigate. But if he disturbs, he would have to mitigate.
Are you
According to the
planning on
Corps.
disturbing that, Danny?
No, we're gonna preserve the pond.
I mean the,
blue-
light blue up
the
to
blu-
the top.
The light blue. I
Up
don't
on the
know.
right-hand side.
Is that what? Yeah, I mean, we would get it delineated. I mean,
And move it towards the pond or something.
from our experience, like these maps are garbage, to
Yeah,
be honest.
they are.
So, like, we would get a professional delineator to go out and delineate the land. I mean, it's a reference. I shouldn't say it's garbage, but it's a starting point. But oftentimes they don't really. So we would get it delineated where the wetlands are. You can disturb up to 6,000 square feet without any
Mitigation.
mitigation. So our intent would not to exceed that amount. We would want to make sure that we stay under that and preserve it. So we don't want to impact the pond or any of the natural areas. So
And as far as I know, that irrigation ditch doesn't exist.
no, I don't think so. It's a natural spring. So.
Yeah, it's just the subwater that's come up over the years out of that pasture area.
Yeah.
In fact, where those homes are all being built up on the east side, they took away all the fireflies.
Yeah.
We had them
Oh,
here in
really?
Cache Valley. Oh, yeah.
Oh, and
There's-
on a side note, there is water. I think you asked Dave. There are water rights that we could transfer to the city. So
So you have
Dave
some
will be
water share.
watching you for mosquitoes.
yeah, there might be some mosquitoes.
Spray them.
I'm hoping that the mosquitoes all hatched, and now it's going to be really cold tomorrow, and the mosquitoes will be gone.
But not the cherries.
Yeah, but not the cherries or the apples. They're in bloom
The
right now.
apricots or the peaches or the
Or any
plums or my pears. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a
They
problem.
got an early start.
Okay, 3 minutes for those of you that would like to speak. And please don't repeat what somebody else has said because we already heard that.
Oh, last time there was a list.
There is a list.
Would you get that from me? Yeah, I guess she's wondering if you're calling them up.
I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is first. I didn't know if anybody was gonna go.
Whoever signed first. Thank you. Okay, so Debbie, let's see, no, the first one on here is Cindy Diamond.
Okay.
So you were first anyway.
I do have a question for Danny. Is this going to be a fenced area individually among houses, or is it going to be an HOA community?
Just need to make sure you talk.
Oh, is this going to be a fenced area for all the homes, or is it going to be open land and have HOAs?
It will have an HOA, but I don't know if fences will be up for the upper.
Okay.
And that depends on what the CCNRs are as well.
So you'll have a CCNR. So as people are developing this property, are you going to have a say in the look and the feel of what they do so that there maintains a good look in that area, or are you just going to have everybody do whatever they want?
Well, we're gonna build the home.
So you will control it.
That's what I'm wondering is if he's going to control that area. Okay. First off, Carrie, I want to say thank you for the prayer. I haven't been to a city council, but that was a nice way to start. A couple of things. I've seen Providence grow. I've lived here for 40-something years. And I moved in 40 years ago, and I do now have 2 kids that live here, and they have been able to buy homes here. One owns a lot, one owns a house. So I have seen that. I've seen Providence grow immensely. I know and I realize all the land in Providence is going to be developed. I can't stop it. And I don't want to actually, because I love Providence and I would love people to come here and live here. I expected when I went to the planning and zoning meeting, the committee would feel as I do. And I was kind of misled. I assumed they would ensure what is being developed and would keep the look, the feel, the character of Providence and not just develop a bunch of high-density housing, apartments, condos, duplex, etc. People come to live in Providence for a reason, and a lot of it is not to rent. It is to buy a home, look for somewhere permanent to live because Providence is beautiful. I also walk. I walk 2 to 8 miles a day, 6 to 7 days a week. I talk to people all over Providence. The sad part is when I'm walking, I have to zigzag because of the lack of sidewalks and sidewalks ending and having to go across the street. Sadly, the best place to walk is the cemetery, which isn't even located in Providence. I go to my daughter's a lot. They have lots of trails, lots of options right by her house. We go to Arizona. Their planning and zoning there is amazing what they do. The current Providence City Bike and Walking Trail that was painted on the roads, it doesn't work. I would love to use it. I have tried to use it. I've about been hit by cars several times. I don't use them anymore for that reason. Drivers are on their phone and they're distracted. I have seen all the development on the hill. I mean, I remember I was the last house and it's just growing immensely. All the building in Macy's, but very few open spaces in city parks. Keep in mind, I don't know all of the open spaces in the parks. I mean, I don't know. I know you're working on it. And so one of them, my walks, I noticed the rezone sign on the parcel.
That's your 3 minutes.
Oh, it is? Okay. So anyway, I just want to pull back. I love your initiatives. I love the second one. And the way it says promoting sustainable development, preserving natural resources, improving community aesthetics, and maintaining efficient infrastructure. Right now, that land is ag. You will never get land back. It will go away. And right now, it's zoned agriculture, which means it could stay agricultural without development. Am I proposing that? No. But I would like to get more information from Danny of how he's going to maintain and have that look. So that's it. And thank you.
Okay, Danny, you had down that you were going to speak, but you already spoke. Lance Parker. You are not a citizen of Providence, correct?
Correct. My name is Lance Parker. I live in Logan, but I am the listing agent for this piece of property that's up for rezone. So I'm here representing the current owner of the property. To give you a little bit of perspective about her, she is a widow in her mid-80s. She lives in Pocatello, Idaho. And her main reason for selling the property at this point is she is a widow on a fixed income and is starting to experience some health issues and would like to sell this property to have the money on hand should a health crisis arise. She inherited it from her parents, who initially bought it thinking they were going to build a house, and the wife said no, she wanted to stay in River Heights at the time. I was in the 60s or 70s. In response to the question on the water, there is a surface water right that allows for a certain number of animals, as well as the dam and the pond. So I don't know how that would work out to try to switch that into residential or culinary water. One of the main concerns in the meeting last week was that this is a nice place to go and see the birds. There are a lot of birds out there. But where Danny mentioned that he doesn't plan on disturbing the pond, I think perhaps on the north side of the pond, there's a nice spot that would make a great little place for some park benches or something. Granted, the neighbor to the north has some unsightly structures on his property, but I still think that could be a nice feature on this one. But that's basically it. We've had it listed for 2.5 years. Danny is the first one to bring us a legitimate offer. And we're hoping this can work out for everyone, for the seller and the developer, and for Providence City and those who would end up buying and living in these homes.
Thank
and if
you.
you have any questions about the seller or the property that I might be able to answer, just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it Caroline Mayo? I'm a little worried about you back there. Are you hot?
Apparently. Yeah, I guess I'm just really warm up here.
Maybe you're nervous.
Maybe, yes. Yes. So I'm Caroline Mayo. I'm somebody who thinks a lot about what I say before I say it. And I would rather listen. I'd rather listen and learn than speak a lot. So you're right. Maybe I am nervous. I understand that this was slated as a park, and I am also somebody who cares about creatures. I put spiders outside. And a park, this area being a park, I don't know if that would be the right place for that, because people disturb wildlife and kids throw wood chips. If there's a park with wood chips, wildlife won't like that, and they won't be able to nest there. And the peacock that was there last year, I'm sure that he wouldn't want to be around a park either. So I don't know what the park would look like, and I could be completely wrong. That would be a wildlife respected park. So I was thinking also about, if this is built, it should be a 55 plus community, because the 55 plus community would leave the wildlife alone, or they would celebrate it. They would have a bird watching club, and I would learn from them, and it would be amazing. And it would reduce the risk of kids being around that pond. I know that Ryan's Place is a park because little Ryan drowned, and it would be terrible if these homes had any eventual drowning with a child with the open water or wetlands. I mean, kids can drown in 2 inches of water. So fences can be built, but with respect to wildlife, the little baby geese and ducks need to crawl under the fence to be with their mama and their water. So if the baby geese and ducks need to go under the fence, I bet a curious little one could too. So a 55 plus community being built here would be in respect to the wildlife, and they would celebrate it. And they would also have the opportunity to form connections with the Providence Springs community that's right next door. And I live on First East, and I've been able to get to know the people who are in Providence Springs and the wisdom and knowledge that they have brought to this community is amazing. They are settled in their lives and they have so much knowledge. In a congregation meeting, somebody shared that she had her meds figured out so that she could be happy to be alive. And I looked around and there were so many women who just touched their hearts and understanding, and other women who were like, wow, like, thank you so much for saying that. So the 55 plus community in this area would be just amazing. I know that's my 3 minutes. I've been able to listen to their stories of how they were led here to the Providence Springs area, and it's amazing. We are so lucky to have this 55 plus community area, and adding 12 new homes, hopefully they would be risen so that no flooding would happen. This is a huge flooding area, so if this has to go through, it would be great if it were a 55 plus. It would be preferable if it didn't go through because of the flooding and all the land and wildlife. So I know that there has been talks about, and articles I read about Governor Cox putting pressure on local governments to build. So if you feel pressure to build here and you would need to say yes, then 55 plus would be the best bet. However, is this the best place to build? Because of all the flooding and the wildlife that's been so settled here for so long. So it's best to not pass it and not be built here because of all the water. But if it has to pass, 55 plus would be the best.
Thank you. Ashton, you're the next one.
I'm Ashton McFarland. I actually lived in this neighborhood for 13 years and I loved it. I just wanted to get up and talk about my perspective. Obviously, I see that I've driven past that plot of land for a long time and there's really hasn't been much done with it. And I think the best use out of it would be to have a little park there's 3/4 of an acre that's going to be preserved for a park for animals, but also to be able to build houses that are small, that are also the same size as all the other houses around it. So it wouldn't be too high density, but it would also be affordable for people like myself. I'm getting married soon and I don't plan on leaving the valley and I'd love to live in Providence. So I think it's a great opportunity to provide people like me and young families with places to live and start families and continue to build a community. I also recognize the parks, that it's an important thing to have, and there are a lot of parks nearby. There's the school and there's Spring Creek with the skate park and the baseball fields and the pickleball courts that are just behind us. So there are a lot of places that would be a great spot for young families to take their kids, play around at those parks, and also the one that will be developed right in their front yards. So more than anything, I'm for it. I think it would be a great addition to Providence, and I think it would be a very positive thing for young families like myself. So that's all.
Thank you. Okay, that is the end of our list. So now's the time that the council discusses what we've heard and what we've watched on the Planning Commission and read all the documents. So any questions, discussion? Brent?
I like the concept that there is going to be some land preserved where, as it was mentioned, some geese, ducks. We went down there today and there's a hen with goslings, and she was on the south side, but if there's homes there, she'll move to the north side. And it is preserved on that north side. There's an area there that is, I understand, going to be undisturbed. Is that correct? And so, comments regarding the 55 plus, if people are in reasonable health, there's no reason why they couldn't buy a home in that area and enjoy that area. I imagine they'll have a 2-story. Is that anticipated? Are you going to have basements or water table too high?
Slab on grade.
So probably, you know, and there's some people 55 plus. I mean, I still have stairs and I'll be 82 in just, 4 months. So I still have stairs to climb and, it doesn't hurt you. Yeah, well, it hurts, but yeah, you move up and down them anyway. So yeah, I shouldn't say it doesn't hurt. Yeah, it does. I think you have stairs, don't you, Mayor?
I do have stairs.
Yes.
And I'm
But
not too
anyway,
far behind him.
Regardless, there's nothing preventing people who want to move out maybe a larger home and have less yard to take care of to be able to move into that area. We talked about the whole thing being public space. If it were connecting with a trail through it or something like that, yes, it could be a little pocket park in there, but I think you have to weigh out what's the highest and best use, particularly given we all have children, and I have 4 generations living in my house. I don't want any more. It's time for them to move on. So, anyway, my feelings are, I think we're probably looking at an okay use for this property.
Okay, other comments?
What is the road minimum in a PUD?
How wide is the road going to be? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
24 generally with we actually vary it a little bit, but it can't go below 24 because you've got to have fire safety and turnaround and type thing in there, and they'll have to figure some things out. But we do like to have sidewalk on one side of it and that type of thing, similar to how I think the right-of-way in, I think the right-of-way in Springs is less than 30, but I can't remember for positive. And I think the right-of-way in Ballard Springs, the other retirement community is
40.
Oh, Springs is 40, is 32, 36, something like that in Ballard. So
okay.
Is there any access issues with the county road?
they'll have to get an access permit from the county road.
That will be something the county, between the developer and the county, will have to solve. But the county is delaying one in River Heights right now, so that is currently on their docket at the county, between River Heights and the county on that road. So there is definitely a potential for a problem, but that will be solved with preliminary plat and developer later down the road.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion then.
I just want to make one comment first, if that's okay. I appreciate when citizens come and comment, and sometimes there's a feeling that we're not listening, but I assure you that we are listening. And there's so many moving parts that we have to weigh. When I'm looking at a development, and I've mentioned this in many meetings, I look at 3 things. I look at whether the Planning Commission recommended approval, because they do homework and represent all parts of the city as well. I look at the general plan, and if it meets the general plan, and I look at adjacent properties and if there's similar zoning to those adjacent properties. We also listen to the citizens, but we have to be careful because often what's represented are the people who are closest to the property, but not those who, the rest of the city, right? But I assure you that we listen and that we take so many different factors into consideration. I also know and trust and respect Danny. I think as if he develops this, if it moves forward, that if you get to know him and if you communicate with him, you'll find that he's a classy guy who does classy projects. And I don't feel that way about every developer that comes. But if you'll communicate with him and with Ashton, you'll find that they have good ideas and really good intent.
Okay. I will entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I better get my screen back up so I can see what I'm motioning. Hang on. Sorry.
That's okay.
Screen died.
Do you want my paper?
So I'm on the, maybe I better take a look at this.
Here.
Here's number 4, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. There we go. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 06-2026, rezone of parcel 02-092-0049.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Got a second. Any discussion?
I just want to make a comment. I look at these kinds of things. I worried about the wetlands. You've answered a lot of my questions regarding that. Both Scarlett and Danny did. What I weigh also is, I know there's residents that don't want any development on ag property. I get that. I would prefer to keep Providence the way it was when I moved here 30 years ago. It's not happened. It's not going to happen. I also look at, though, a lot of times people forget that the property owner has rights. The landowner has rights. And for me to go in and tell somebody, I know you cannot use the property the way you want to, I better be careful on that and make sure I'm doing it in a legal way. So I worry about when people they don't want their rights trampled on, but they're okay trampling on the rights of a property owner. I struggle with that a little bit. Not saying anyone here has done that. Don't get me wrong. I've just seen that kind of thing in the past. And so I'm not worried about whether or not this is and this is going to sound cold, but an 85-year-old widow that's might need money eventually. I'm not worried about that, but I am worried about her rights, because I think all landowners have rights. So that's it.
Well, land is someone's 401k.
It can be. Yeah.
So okay. Thank
think
you
to,
for your comments.
Well, one more thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I know just about everybody in this room and have feelings, I guess, back and forth, and we've talked, and so it's a difficult decision for me, because whatever I say, I'm going to disappoint somebody. Yeah. I guess you all maybe are in that boat too, but having known you all, with regard to property rights, I agree with the property rights. That's juxtaposed a little bit in my mind with, do we want every square inch of dirt in this city built on? And I struggle with that too, because I know there's a lot of people, myself included, who want some space,
That's why we buy land and build parks.
Yes.
Is so that we can have some open space.
Yep.
And we can't make everything open space. And honestly, we can't afford some of the land unless we want to raise taxes, just so that we can have some open space.
Yeah.
When we're pretty close to some open space right up there.
Yeah.
So
I also think too, some of the reasoning that Planning Commission gave as far as their recommendation to us, I feel like was a little bit iffy in my mind. One of them was like, oh, I like Danny. He's a great guy. And I like you too, Danny, but I don't know that that's a reason that we say, let's rezone this because we like somebody. Or the mention of a gravel pit. I had a gravel pit I had to fence somewhere once, so we should rezone this. So in my mind, that doesn't connect at all. And those two voted to recommend that to us. And so I wonder about those kind of things. So I'm not saying
It was a split vote.
yes or no, but it was a split vote. It wasn't, and Julie was not present. And I kind of wonder how that would have gone with a different discussion on a different day. So just my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion, we have a second. If there's no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Ask for a post.
Did you? I didn't hear you vote.
I haven't voted.
Okay.
Yeah, ask for a post.
Okay. Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so 3-2, it passes. Thank you all for your feedback and your input. You're welcome to stay to the end of the meeting.
Way to clear a room.
Serve sauerkraut, we'd stay.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go grab it.
We've got some.
That expensive?
Okay, so we'll close that portion and we'll go to the solid waste and recycling collection disposal services agreement. Providence will review, discuss, and may approve an agreement for solid waste and recycling collection and disposal with Clean Slate Services. So Ryan, I believe that's yours.
It is. I've been waiting all night for this one, so I'm so excited. What I have here, we have on the website, and what we linked to the agenda is a draft. We've gotten some feedback from some different council members and different ones. So this is a slight variation of it, but I'm going to go through the different changes, but give a bit of a base of how we got here. So for those that haven't followed along with our solid waste, 2 years ago, well, 3 years ago or more, Logan decided that, they had been providing all the solid waste for the entire valley. They decided to exit the solid waste. And at that point, when they decided to exit, we had some choices. 14 cities went and decided to have a consortium, and they've contracted with Waste Management. At that point, the council decided to kind of go on our own so that we could see our own path forward. We bid out the service, and at that point, the county had, with the consortium, had contracted Waste Management. They, in part of their contract, it excluded Waste Management from offering any other services to any other cities in the valley. So they weren't able to bid on our service. We received one response to service, and it was significantly higher than what the consortium price had been. And so the decision was to proceed with providing our own. So we bought trucks, we bought cans, we created and drafted and created routes, and we were looking to either hire or train drivers, and we were able to get with Clean Slate, and they were somebody that was already providing waste services to other commercial and different things in the area, and so we joined together with this agreement. They provide the manpower, we provide the asset for the waste management collection, and we have successfully had no property taxes gone into it. This is all paid out of services for service to go into it. It is a service we provide with a net change in position each year, a positive net change in position each year, and we've been able to have our rates to be half the increases of the other rest of the valley. So we're keeping our rates low, we're building an asset, and we're building a future reserve for this. So that's where we come to at this point. This is the extension of that initial contract. So that was for first 2 years to test out to see how the relationship worked. Relationships work fairly well. And so this is the extension. So this is a 3-year extension to that. So anyway, just to go through, it's an amended and restated agreement. We've added a whereas the contractor previously entered into the professional services. So we've added that. We've modified this line here. I'm sure this is the right one, right? I want to make sure I'm in the right one here. Yeah. I believe so. Okay. I had a few different ones looking at it. So the process, we've purchased the trucks. We've adjusted. I thought there was a little different. Okay. Sorry. I got a different version here. I'm going to pull across. It's a little different. Okay. The whereas clause, same. We've added this whereas clause. This one we changed because we had already bought the trucks and had that. We've eliminated some of that wording to clear it up. City purchased trash collection trucks, so we just kind of cleared that up. Anyway, as I scroll down here, we'll note we've further defined the service area as primarily for Providence City. That is our primary limits, the municipal limits of Providence City, with the ability to go throughout the county, but not beyond there without prior approval. So we intend for them to stay within the county. It is an extension. This will tell us that the additional term was the original contract here for on April 28th, 2024, and this is the extension of that, the 3-year extension. We removed diesel. That previously we paid for the diesel. They reimbursed us for the diesel. We're pushing that so they just pay straight for the diesel. But if diesel goes over $8.50 per gallon, we have agreed that we'd come back together and talk about an escalation for that. So and we'll bring that back. So if it happens.
Right.
What's that?
I hope it doesn't get to $8.50 a gallon.
Forbid, right?
Yeah. So anyway, but that's where we're kind of at. We've also added they'll pay for the repairs, the maintenance, but and they'll pay us for mileage, reimbursed for mileage. We'll get to that on the front load truck, and but if there is mileage, we won't charge them for mileage for maintenance or warranty or kind of those kind of related items. So they're just lighting that out. The other one, signage. This gives them the ability to put signage as approved by the city, to put signage only on the front load truck. They lease and operate the front load truck. They do the billing. They do all that. They'd like to have some type of signage to recognize that they're supposed to be there. The contract matches their name for these front load, but it does this clause tells us that we approve, and it would be the wording operated by, so that it's clear what's happening there, that they're operating that front load truck, but we're the owner of that truck. So anyway, I'll just keep scrolling.
Permanent signage, or is that?
No, that would have to be removed, and when the contract came off, they'd have to remove and clean it. Yeah.
We've already had one removed.
We have. We had one that was in error installed, and we've had removed. So but yes, it says return the truck free of adhesive residue and in good condition. So, yep, good point. But we wanted to line out what there was and what their ability was. So, and then a bit of change to the rate here at the bottom, a flat rate for monthly of the 6,500, and then the mileage. What we're looking to do here on the front load, we pay based on the can for the rest, but the front load, what we're doing is we're trying to recoup the cost of that truck. So we want to be able to recoup the cost. They're going to pay for fuel, maintenance, and repairs, and so we're going to be able to use this monthly amount to be able to replace that truck every 5 to 7 years, and then that mileage will also help offset some of the cost of ongoingly using that. But they take care of tires and maintenance and all that. So anyway, that is what the contract is, and I think anybody that's got those, I think I've addressed questions or comments that I've received, and so I've tried to do that. So I'm bringing this as a recommendation to approve, continuing to have them partner with us to do solid waste.
Is it still, I can't read it from
All right,
here. Is
yeah.
it still 70 cents a mile?
Yes, 70 cents a mile.
Okay. Yeah. And did we define the side load trucks to stay within the confines of Providence?
Yes.
Okay.
So the side load is just Providence bound,
Okay.
except for delivery to the landfill, delivery to the recycle, but they can't use
Or
the
they
side
have
load.
to go
route,
out and
yeah.
do that.
We have 2 side loads that that would put for sale if somebody is interested in running a side load business. So if there's anybody out there that would like those, we would be happy to sell those. And
But
they could
not
get
in
into
Providence.
business. Yes, not in Providence.
And I mentioned to you I was concerned about the insurances. Do you think $1 million is enough versus $2.5 million?
Yeah, it's a great question. So theirs is, and I needed to get with them to know the full amount. That's the minimum that we require of them, and then they cover first, and we cover second coverage. So what I'll do is if you want, I'll go back and double check to see what their levels are. That was the amount that had been recommended to us from our legal side. So our legal went over and reviewed that.
Well, I'm definitely not legal, but
nor am I the attorney. So anyway,
some of the awards that are being given, holy smoke! I'm not sure $2.5 million will do it, but where they're operating the trucks, they're on the front line, and I don't know. I just wonder if we ought to have a stepped up basis in the insurance.
We are secondary though, too.
Yeah, great.
Is secondary insurance similar to an umbrella policy, or?
So we have a secondary insurance and then an umbrella policy. So their first coverage, they cover first coverage, and then we'll cover second liability, and then we'll cover umbrella. So we have two policies when it hits us.
So if theirs maxes out, it hits us, and then if ours maxes out, we still have the umbrella. So we essentially have 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There was a near miss today.
There was a near miss.
About got a kid.
Yeah, Brent and I were out looking at the. There was 2 kids that jumped out of the garbage truck in the school crossing walk.
Uh-oh.
It was scary.
So the insurance went up.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has any consideration of negligence or versus sheer accidental. I don't know the ins and outs of insurance. I just look into it a little bit, will you, Ryan?
We'll do it. I'll
Thank
send him
you.
a message now to see what his level actually is. I know we had the minimums, but they certainly may cover and have more coverage. But I'll double check that and get back.
Thank
with
you.
Yep.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve item number 5, solid waste and recycling collection and disposal services agreement.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
The only thing that I've had brought to me since we started garbage collection is a consideration to do some type of residential rate for multifamily. I'm not really sure what that would look like, given the two different types of trucks, but I just wondered what my peers' thoughts were on that.
Have you given some thought?
Sometimes, though, we charge a rate, and then whoever owns the multifamily houses can put more on that. Do the multifamily pay us directly?
So at this point, just to answer that question, because the multifamily, because they have dumpsters and are front load driven, those are all done through contract with Clean Slate. We aren't involved in the billing collection or involved in those. If it's a dumpster, now if it's a side can, you control the rate that we set for the side can, but it is the side load is we require everybody to have a side load. Unless they opt with a dumpster, they have a side load requirement, and we are the only provider of that service. We on the front load, we are we tell them that Clean Slate is a preferred provider, and we've partnered with them to help to provide, but we don't have an exclusive to that. So there is the ability for others to service other than Waste Management can't leave their area. They have to, because they have a contracted area against service to us. That's a contract between them that they can't service here. So they would be the only one that wouldn't be able to service. But that's between them and the consortium that they have restrictions there. But there could be others that could provide services like commercial services, construction services, roll-offs, those things. So, but good point, because there does seem to be some of a discrepancy. There's more of a market on the front load side, but we don't allow a market on the side load side, and so you as the council establish that rate. So, anyway, we haven't been in the business of being involved in the setting of the commercial rate. So, but that's your question is we're not in that business, and so should we have some basic?
I mean, as I read the contract, I feel like there's allowances for both sides, you know. Any establishment can choose to get residential service if they have a side load can delivered to every unit. But I also look at, do we even want to encourage that option? That struggles picking up side load cans in like cul-de-sacs. I can't even imagine trying to pick up side load cans through the Gateway development.
Good point.
It would be so challenging.
Especially in the wintertime with snow.
Crazy.
Snow removal, that kind of stuff.
I don't even think we even if we told them they had to wheel it to the curb, I don't think we have enough curb space for that many cans.
Yeah.
So I do think that we would prefer that they continue to use, you know, a dumpster. I think they would prefer to use a dumpster. But should we consider a residential rate because they are actually residences and not businesses? I don't know. I mean, they can choose if they want to do side load can or dumpster, but.
And they can actually choose the provider of the dumpster, or the provider to dump the dumpster.
Yeah, that's true.
So they do have that choice. Okay.
You think it's fine? Should we carry on?
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine, actually.
I think they pay for what they use, and they're using a side load.
Front load.
I mean, a front load dumpster.
They can choose their collection.
And they don't have to go out in the cold and take their garbage can out, or?
Did an owner contact you directly and ask that, or?
The HOA president did.
HOA. And are they saying they actually want side load cans? Or
Is
they're
it
just
because
saying,
it's too much?
or they're just saying they
Wants
want
let to
They
pay
want a
less.
residential
pay
rate
less
for
because
multifamily
because
housing.
of the
because they're residents.
Dumpster use.
Is it cheaper to do, if every resident did a can, would that overall be cheaper than a front load dumpster?
I don't know what they get charged, so I can't
Okay.
say exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know though. I don't know that it would be because of the number of units and the storage requirement for all of those cans.
Well, if they're paying individually for cans, I would think that would be way more
Way
expensive.
I would think so too.
Because you add up all those fees and it's more expensive than, plus they have to take their cans somewhere.
And they all have to store their cans in limited garage space because they're not going to let them store them outside. I would think that'd be a conversation for that HOA president to have with his people and
Or with their provider,
look at it.
the person that's collecting,
Yeah.
the company that's collecting.
And I think they're on a 3-year contract with where they're at. So even if you changed here, that's not going to change theirs for until they were out, until their contract's up, right?
Yeah, I think they're halfway through their contract. So it wouldn't immediately apply to them.
So
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We have our county executive here.
Oh, I have 2 other agenda items before him, but we sure love having him.
Do
you want to
you?
move to him first?
Oh, no.
I mean, that's okay with me. I'm willing, but I just want to make sure I do have 2 agenda items still
Okay.
to cover. Is that
I'm going to
okay?
let you do it.
Okay.
Sorry. They're both fire. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll go on to item number 6. I should check these off so that I don't do that.
And I don't know that this will, this is just us staying with Logan at this point. I think with his alternative, that's still going to be a possibility. So plus or minus what comes later. I think, so we have had a contract with Logan. That contract had an extension period where we're in that service by extension. So this needs to be passed so that we can fulfill the extension of that contract. So this is kind of a fairly standard contract. We've added a few things, recommendation from our attorney that came in after the agenda item was posted. One thing, initial term or upon decision of Providence City to pursue their own fire department. I don't foresee that and would prefer that I not be the manager when that happens. So anyway, love to have fire departments. I just don't love managing them. So I will confess where I'm weak. Then Logan City, we just want to have some transparency on some of the reports. So we'd like to have an annual report collected on the EMS fees. We don't get a lot of reporting for the detail on the finances. We'd like a little bit more. Then contacting, we've added both contacting the mayor and myself. We play a little bit different roles in that. So we'd like to have those contacts go to both of us. And I think that's most changes. We do have a quarterly report. We are getting those. When I first came, we weren't getting those. I just wanted to include with the attorney and I. We wanted to include specified that we got at least quarterly reports. At this point, we're getting monthly, which is appreciated. But when the contract started, there wasn't any requirement for those kind of reports. And then really the crux of it is a 3% increase. That's what we'd had. It's not increasing as fast as some of the cost. And so they've asked for a more of an increase, and we kind of had a discussion back and forth between the chief. With our growth in sales tax and other things, a 5% growth for us is a very budgetable item, rather than big steps. Instead of a major step each time and then take little steps, If we can take a little bit bigger step from instead of the 3, if we can take a 5 and avoid large $100,000-$200,000 steps, that's more helpful for us. Just date of this contract has come up. We have paid the January 2026 amount. We have paid that. So this contract, because the other one expired and we were on kind of the extension, they'd still cover us. This is going back to that date so that we have a consistent contract numbers, but that date is actual accurate to have that contract back to the 2025 year. So it seems like, oh, well, why don't we have it as of today? That's why, because we had a previous 5-year contract that ended and we had some extension to it, but this fulfills connecting that. So anyway, any other questions about service from Logan and continuation of our fire coverage with them?
Has there been any downsides that you've heard of?
I haven't. They're really good. We have a dedicated staff member from Logan, Aaron Walker, that does an amazing job for us, does our fire inspection. He comes to our staff meetings. It is really part of our staff, and I think we'd all have compliments all around. Yeah, I think you'd find all of our staff nod their heads that, yeah, we're supportive. And like Aaron, Nate, the chief Thompson has been great to us, and we're excited for our relationship with the new mayor, with Mark. So at this point, we're in good hands. We feel like we're in good hands. We do want to prepare some for the future, and we think there's some discussions to be had for what that looks like. But certainly, we've had very good fire coverage in EMS from Logan, and our relationship is very good there, and we appreciate it. So.
Can you speak to what that contract amount is in mill levy?
Let's call it 63 and a half, between 60 and 70 mil. It's about that for us. So.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. I could calculate it if you gave me a little time, but anyway, it's about that 65-ish, let's call it, round it to there. So, okay, any other questions?
Okay. Agreement that we need to vote on? A motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the agreement for fire protection from Logan City.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Second by Brent. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Arbor Day.
All right. You know what? As far as I'm aware, we've never done a Tree City USA designation. Do you remember? Okay. We are like one step away this year, because we did our tree inventory. We found we have 4,100. As a city, we own 4,100 trees. We have trimmed trees. We've planted trees. We've done a lot of work on trees. We're working on getting some arborists to help us. We've hired different arborists this year. And we have mapped out every tree and the condition of every tree in the city. And we're going to work on pruning some of those trees. We're going to look on certain areas to plant some new trees. We'll probably plant 24 new trees in our parks this year. And the only checkbox that we have not done that would qualify us for the designation of Tree City USA it is proclaiming Arbor Day. It's been proclaimed for 50, 70 years. It's almost 70 years. I think it's from the mid 50s. And all around us, lots of the other cities in the valley have proclaimed this, and this is something that would put us in that same category. we oftentimes get people that don't know how much we love trees. We don't love them as much when they're in the way of a sidewalk, but we do love them in backyards and in parks, and we as a city, we have that 4,100 trees that we love and care for, and they are part of our city. And so this just helps us to move forward towards that Tree City USA designation. This would be our first year, 250 years of the country, and we're going to be the first year if you would like us to. And so anyway, that's why we're proposing it, celebrating Arbor Day this year. It'll be our first.
Okay. Any questions for Ryan? I'm excited that we're going to do this. I hate driving down the street and seeing ugly trees that have a bunch of dead parts in them. So it'd be nice to clean them up and make them pretty.
My comment to Ryan about this was that, one, how are we going to celebrate it as a city? So we talked about the number of trees that we're going to plant this
We
year.
planted 6 trees in the
Planted 6. We're going to go for 2 dozen
That's
more.
a start.
And if there's a way to
Celebrate it, to
celebrate,
show
bring
that
the community
we care
together
about
for
trees.
Arbor Day. But David's project sounds like it might be up that alley, pine cones and branches. As cleanup, or
It's a start.
or maybe a dumpster for the weekend for everyone's branches, or something exciting.
Probably not at that point yet.
We're not quite to celebrating that big. Maybe go help your neighbor chop
When-
theirs into their green waste bin.
When does the designation begin?
So the Arbor Day is the 4th Friday of, anyway, the proclamation tells us the day it's supposed to
It's the
be.
last Friday of the month.
The last Friday of April, right? Yeah. So anyway, there's a specific day that all Arbor Days are generally celebrated on.
So
So
we'll be granted that.
if we do that, then we'll submit for the Tree City USA, and
Okay.
that will come at some future date. We don't know when they would award that, but
So we don't
but
know
we're
that. Okay.
we're just this close if we'd like to do that. And I think celebrating our city is a great thing. And
Oh,
so
absolutely.
anyway, just
Okay.
I'll make a motion. Oh, I'll make a motion that we approve the Arbor Day proclamation. Item number
Second
7.
that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Too bad that doesn't come with a bunch of money.
it doesn't. We spend money, and so anyway.
Okay. All right. Now, we have a very busy county executive here who's come to talk to us about some ideas he has about fire and fire district.
Appreciate the
Thank you.
opportunity to talk with you a little bit about what the county's doing with respect to the fire district. I don't know how much information you as a council have about what's been going on there. Brent, have you heard anything about it?
Well, not necessarily from the community, but I have read and followed it pretty close, what's going on. There's been lots of discussion. Some have rejected. Some have rejected getting involved and want to stay their own entity. And we got double taxation we want to solve. And there's some things that we're looking at a voucher system. Possibly that's something we're looking at. So that's where I'm at.
Idea.
We all
realize-
received and read your letter.
Pardon
So
me?
We all received and
Yep,
read
we
your
did.
letter, so we
The
do
kind
have
of
that
the outline
foundation.
of-
Yeah.
Okay.
If that helps you to know where we
that
are.
helps, and at 8:30, I'd like to avoid giving you the deluxe presentation and maybe the more simplistic one. But essentially the system they were headed toward when I came into office was, we're going to have a fire district for everyone outside of Logan. We're going to centralize all of the fire activity. We're going to have a hierarchy, one chief, lots of Indians, one chief, and everybody's going to take their fire assets and put it into this bin. And that's been kind of ongoing for 2 or 3 years. And a number of cities told me that's not what we want to do. Other cities said, not only that's not what we want to do, we're going to exit the fire district. And so then they argued about whether they could exit or not. And I don't think it makes any sense to do anything here that the cities don't agree with. I don't know why the county would want to do something different than what the cities want. But there are some things about a fire district that we may be able to use to benefit the cities and the county generally. We really have a mixed arrangement as to how the cities are arranging their fire EMS coverage. The cities that are real close to Logan have found it most efficient for them to buy the services from Logan. So they really don't have their own fire departments and don't think they need them. They have a sophisticated fire department EMS service in Logan. They're entering into contracts such as the one you've entered into, and that's providing good service. I don't know why we would want to suggest that you switch that. Other cities have their own fire departments. There's complete fire departments in a number of cities, principally Hiram and Smithfield. And then other cities contract with those cities. So you kind of have a variety of arrangements that are made. The county has a fire department for the wildlands, but is concentrating most of its effort on running an EMS program in the southern part of the county. But when we say southern part of the county, that doesn't include Providence or River Heights. Now, when the county charges taxes, they tax everybody outside of Logan because that's a fire district. So in your city, you receive a Cache County tax notice. That tax notice has a certain dollar amount that goes to fire EMS. But as near as I can tell, Providence City doesn't get any benefit from that money at all. So that's, if I take the amount that the county is spending on fire EMS, it's about $4 million. Everybody in the county is paying that. Logan, Providence, North Logan, Smithfield, Hiram, everybody pays that. What does that amount to? About 259 mils, or 0.25 of a percent. It amounts to about $83 per average household. A household with a budget of, or a home that's $600,000, if you took 55% of that, that's their taxable value. About 259 mils on that. They're taxed that. It goes into this fund for the county, and then it goes out to run the EMS program and to other cities. Providence receives no benefit from that. I would call that double taxation. A citizen like you, Brent, you're paying all of the cost to Providence City for providing fire EMS service for your home. But on top of that, you're paying another fee to Providence, and that's, or to, excuse me, to the county. Same thing in Logan, same thing in North Logan. So we have this terrific distortion. We also have the situation, if you're in the unincorporated county, because you're not in a city, the only thing you're paying is that amount to Logan or to Cache County. So it's really a mess. My suggestion to the fire district is accept the decision of the cities that they want to run their own fire departments or make their own fire arrangements. That is, accept what you have chosen to do, which is contract with Providence or contract with Logan. Accept that. Accept the fact that some cities want their own fire department. And my suggestion to them was that we set up a mill levy that's a base level that everybody pays the same. That would be everybody outside of Logan pays the same mill levy. So there would be a mill levy levied on the homes and the properties in Providence of a certain level. That money would come into the county. County totals up how much comes from Providence, makes a check out and gives it back to Providence City. So that essentially we act as a collector of the funds and distribute them back, but then let the cities use that money however they choose to provide fire EMS coverage for their city. Now that's the general idea. Why do it that way? Well, it solves one of my problems, which is it gives me a way to tax the unincorporated areas so that they pay a fair share of what it costs to provide fire EMS service, which is 600, 700, 800 mills, somewhere in that range. But right now they're only paying 259 mills. So we're short that money. So the money to make up the difference is coming from places like Providence. Now, in Providence, the way that would work is you'd receive a check back from the county for that money. Whatever's collected in Providence, no surcharge, no percentage deduction. Every dollar collected by the county using a mill levy in Providence would come right back to Providence. You kind of follow how that would work, and then you would use that money at your contract with Logan. You might have a little left over that you could put in the till for a future fire station or other things that are related to fire and EMS coverage. Now that's kind of how the program would work. I can answer some questions about that if you have those. Brent?
If you did it that way, would that give you enough to continue to operate the EMS out in the county?
We would be turning, what we would like to do is turn the EMS operation that's running in the South County over to the cities. We think the cities would in turn decide to vest it in Hiram, where they have a more developed fire station, and use it that way. Can't promise that's what the cities would do, but the cities would make the decision. Right now, the fire board is composed of 3 county people and 4 mayors. I'm proposing that they add 4 more mayors to that group, and that one of those mayors be added would be Kathleen Alder, so that it's very clear that the city are running this operation.
So we'd have representation on that.
You would
board.
have representation. I actually prepared a set of bylaws that names the cities that, and both Providence and Hyde Park would go on to the board, and then the smaller cities in each end of the valley would choose 1 more. And at this point, we already have Nibley, North Logan, Hiram, and Smithfield. So there's the 4 cities that are on. We'd add Hyde Park and Providence. That would give us the 6 largest cities. And then the other cities at each end of the valley would choose 1 to represent them.
I think we also have an interest in wildland because we border wildland on our east side. It is a lot of it federal, but we do have an interest in wildland, and we'd want to be able to preserve the finances for the wildland.
Yeah, we've actually done a pretty good job that way, Brent. We bought 6 pumper trucks and put them in the rural fire station specifically for that purpose, both because we don't have fire hydrants in the rural area and because they're on the fringe of the forest land, that we've got those pumper trucks and a fleet of tenders to take care of them. So Paradise, Newton, Clarkston, Mendon, Richmond, and Lewiston. 6 of them are out there. That's where most of the equipment that the county owns is located, is in those 6 rural stations.
Okay.
So I did a little chart up, and I guess I could have you throw.
I can.
I just don't want you downloading anything else.
just automatically downloads everything.
So if the fire district is collecting the funds, right, they would go through Truth and Taxation, administer a mill levy
I
tax.
think we the first year we'd have to have the county do it if we want to get a jump start on doing it in 27, and thereafter the fire board would be doing it. This is the chart I'm going to throw up. I've got 4 of them.
We'll share.
We can share.
Kind of looking over the.
We'll share.
The 4th column is Providence.
Tell me which one. I assume it's under the scans, and is it the
Is this your copy? Do you need this?
spreadsheet? Is it this one?
It's got notes on it.
Yes, it's that one.
Just a quick question.
Looks like your copy. You got notes on it. This looks like your copy.
That one's got them on both sides.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's
We can
slight
share.
differences in some of them. I put pink on, and there's a few cities that haven't told us what they're spending. And I may have the wrong number for Providence, but the Providence column kind of illustrates what we're trying to show. Providence, we've chosen a typical home in Providence, $600,000 appraised home. You all find that column where it says Providence primary home. Then we take 55% of that, and that's $324,000. That's the taxable value of that home. The county is charging, and let me just say, it varies a little bit based upon your taxable basis. On some of the sheets, I'm using the 24 taxable basis for Providence, and on others, I've got an estimate for 26. But it's between 230 and 260 mils is that range. So for a Providence home at 230 at $74.52. If it's 249, it's $83. So it's in that range. That's what every person, every home in Providence is paying to Cache County for fire service that you do not get anything for.
And we'll get a check when back for all the years? No, I'm just kidding.
No, you will get a check back if we do this.
Well,
Now,
just
the next
can I
col-
ask a question on that right there? So that's when we talk in the vouchers, the 0.8, the 0.7, 0.6
Yeah.
versions of that. So that would be a 0.2. Where's Providence? So that would be a 0.2.
0.00230 on the taxable basis in Providence. And I'll
Right.
get you the number in just a minute. It's
Okay.
in the column. Now that's what the county's charging. I took 614,000, which is I think what Providence reported as your cost of fire EMS coverage.
It's
What's
close
that?
enough for this
But it
perspective.
sounds like
so
it's a little off.
it's a
doesn't it?
little off, but
Yeah.
it's
But the
close enough for
principle
this
is
perspective.
is the same. If you take that number and divide it by your taxable basis, you have how many mills you're charging your own citizens and collecting, putting the money in your general fund, and then using it to pay for Logan. So you really are, there's 2 sources of money that's used to cover fire EMS for your residents. Money that goes to the county that you don't get, and money that goes to the general fund, which you're using to pay for your fire EMS coverage from Logan. Okay? If you total those 2 up, and we put a new mill levy on to replace those 2, then you could either have an 800 mil or a 700 mil or a 600 mil. Yellow is 800 mils, blue is 700 mils, and green is 600 mils. So you can see that if we went to an 800 mil levy, your citizens would pay just a little bit more. If we go to a 600 mil, there would be a less amount of money on every, okay? That's the result of eliminating both of those and replacing it with a new mill levy. Now, how much is your check Well, if it's set at 80 mils, your check could be around a little over $1 million. If it's set at 700 mils, $900,000. If it's set at 6 mils, 700 and something. So all of those would be more than you're paying for fire coverage. So you could both reduce the taxes on your citizens and have money to pay Logan and have something left over. What's not to like about that?
Right.
Why does it work out so nicely for you? Because you're already paying a fair amount for fire EMS coverage. Now, if you go a little further and look at unincorporated, that's right next to you, you'll see the situation there is just reversed. They pay the same amount to the county because that's a uniform levy, but they pay nothing to a city. So when I put a 600 or 800 mil on them, they're going to be paying a substantial amount for fire coverage. But you know what? It'd be the same amount you're paying.
They would be paying what they should have been paying all along, and we'll be paying what we should have been paying all along.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, is fix this so that it's an even playing field. This would completely eliminate double taxation. There's a mill levy here that isn't set. My proposal was that the mayors get together and decide what the levy should be countywide. And that the idea is that would be a baseline that everybody pays. Each city makes their own decision how to use the money. That's how it would work. Now, I checked my tax notice for Providence and kind of thought, okay, how does that actually work out in Providence? Well, my mill levy for the county, and I'm a Providence citizen and I'm a primary homeowner, the tax rate was 1,096 mils. So if we did this, my tax rate would go down that 230 or 250 mils on that. I pay Providence City another 1,015 mils, or 1% of the taxable value of my home. If you took off the mill levy that you're using to collect the money because you don't need it anymore because you get the check back, I'd get a deduction there. So frankly, for me, it would and it would be this way for almost everyone, depending where that mill levy would decide whether I have to pay a little bit more or get a little bit of a deduction. But whichever it is, Providence ends up with considerably more money to take care of their fire EMS needs.
Is there anything that prevents us from opting out of the fire district?
Yeah,
Because
just the work to do it, Janelle.
Can manage this.
I'm not going to oppose you. In your situation, if you feel like it better just get out of the fire district, that's fine. And frankly, when you get out of the fire district, you're not going to be paying any money to Cache County, and that solved my problem with you, which is the double taxation problem. So that's a solution. I would tell you that you're then somewhat at the mercy of Logan, because it might be better to have the ability to retain a little money and build up something. You're kind of at the edge of the service area of Logan, and it may make sense for Nibley in Providence to look at putting in a limited fire station or an EMS station sometime in the future as you get larger. But again, that's your decision. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to get out of the fire district, I'm going to make sure the county doesn't oppose you. If you want to stay in, if you get into this system, we're going to give you back every dollar we collect, because we're not providing you with any services at all. And if you decide to build your own fire station and run your own fire department, you'd have that money to do it with. Just your choice.
So let's say we opted out. 5 years down the road, we say, you know what? We'd like to be part of it. Is that even a possibility?
I don't know. It's not easy to get out. I think you have to go through some kind of an analysis. There's a bunch of state rules about getting out. We're not going to make any effort to keep you in, but you do have to go through a process. This district was set up in 1965. Wow. The only city that opted out was Logan. So we've all had this lingering fire department / fire district that's been sitting there. And 2 or 3 years ago, they started this centralization idea. But frankly, you've been double taxed on this forever. And so is Logan City, and so is North Logan, so is Smithfield, because Smithfield also provides all of their own fire. So there's just been a real mess as to how this has been handled. Kind of like a library. I won't get into that tonight.
Oh, we're
That's-
getting into
That's our next.
I think the voucher things is a great idea for applying to a library. Let's try the library, see how it works for the library, and then if it really works well, then let's do it for the fire.
You know, the cities decided 20 years ago not to do it that way. Whether that was a good decision or not, subsequent to that time, a bunch of them built buildings and put lots of capital into it. And, you know, if you want to run a vote and see if you can get them to agree to consolidate, have at it. Anyway, if you kind of all understand the program, we would like to do this as quickly as we can, because I'd like to end the double taxation problem. It may take you some time to get out of this if that's what you choose to do, but as soon as we can set this up, I can stop the double taxation. So we're asking the mayors to get back to us quickly and see if they agree to this. If they agree, we'll try and get this on our tax notices this year and try and have it start January 1. If it starts January 1, we'd probably have some money to give you back.
Awesome.
But Mayor, you would, to make this work, you would have to reduce your tax levy by, the amount that you're charging for that. You would want to rely on this source rather than have your citizens both pay the new levy and keep taxing them the same. So,
or we move it to the library.
He's just poking you. This is the first time I've seen the information about what we're paying to the county now, what our citizens are paying in their taxes, in their property
it's quite
tax.
a bit of money when you total it up. I guess I could do the math, but it's $74 at 230 mills on, or depending on which year you're looking at, on $1.316 billion. So that's going to be $300,000 a year or something that your citizens are paying.
Over and above what they're already paying.
Yeah, I told it up for North Logan. North Logan was about $400,000 a year. Let's see, they're about a third bigger than you are. So $250,000, $300,000 a year is going to the county. It's not being wasted, but it's being spent on other people. Logan rent is $1.3 million every year. So that's what we're working on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For the information and for coming.
It's a lot of work to collect all the city's information.
Pardon me?
It's a lot of work to get all the city's information.
It's a lot of work, and it's anytime you start trying to explain to people a new tax and it's going to be replacing these other two taxes, it gets complicated, and it's one of those things that the truth is the property tax system is not well understood. Many people are confused about it, but if it's done correctly here and we explain it, we're actually collecting the same amount of money. Some people's taxes go up and some go down because we're evening out the playing field. But the amount collected, the total amount collected, is about what we're spending between what the county now spends and what all of the cities collectively are spending.
Well, it's good to have an explanation. It's good to see those figures. Thank you for doing that. It's a good format.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, before you sit down,
Before you sit down,
I want to give you this back.
he downloaded a bunch of stuff for you.
Maybe I'll have more knowledge.
So there are more discussions for us to have on this, but thank you for doing this. You don't want to stay for the library discussion?
If you'd like me to.
We're okay.
I really am happy to do it.
We may call you back on another night.
Call me back.
Is that next on your
It is next on the agenda. Okay. Okay. So there's more discussion to be had on that, and we'll get to that later. So we'll go on to
Library one's going to be really easy if you want me to cover it.
please do.
Okay. The bottom line is, if we prepare, and we've talked about the potential of putting it on the ballot. We currently have we talked about it last time. We had a survey that we have a lot of residents that are interested. We've sent out another follow-up survey about specific coverage amounts and what that means, and if that leads us to a property tax. And then we're also investigating the possibility of a vote. We're still in that research phase. When we reached out for Truth in Taxation and to see what that was like, there was just a few dates left. We really have one date left. If we want to do Truth in Taxation, the county has dates we can pick. And so the one that was left for us to be able to have was August 4th. And so we would ask that if you want to continue to investigate the possibility, that we need to set a public hearing for that August 4th date, because that's the available date we have. So if you like that date and you want to do Truth in Taxation, then you'll approve it. If you don't want to do Truth in Taxation, or you don't like that date, then vote against it. But that's our date. So
It's my
August
favorite
4th.
date.
That's awesome. So that's your choice. So if you want to do it, yes. If you don't, no. So it's a
Well,
simple.
we should set it. If we decide not to, we can unset it. But so the vote that we need to take tonight is: do we want to set that date for Truth in Taxation, and then we'll cover other discussions, other things that need to be done before we get there. But for tonight, that's the decision we need to make.
Yeah, I mean, I've already sent it to the county. It's already approved. There was either this date or Fridays. We gotta do it before our council date in August, so I had to really jump on it. I redid our form and sent it into the county just to lock in that date.
So we'll keep you legal.
I'll make a
Have
motion
vote.
that we schedule our Truth and Taxation public hearing for the library on August 4th, Tuesday,
Okay.
August 4th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
At 6 p.m.
And that's the only thing that will be on the agenda.
Okay.
Can't have anything else on the agenda that day.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second it.
Was that you, Brent?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yay, that really was short. See?
This is going to be really.
Somebody would bring up the fact that you're going to get back to $300,000 that's now being used for nothing, comes back into your general fund.
Cool.
I think it's better to have a line item tax to secure the funding for the library than tinker with the general fund. So, but it does make the education component of the tax adjustments with fire coming down, library going up. There's an added layer of complexity for us to educate our citizenry, for sure.
Yes.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Okay. More discussions to come on the library. So
We'll bring that back when we have the survey done. We'll address some of those things then.
okay. We don't have any study items. Is there any public comment? And I want to explain that we put public comment at the end because it has nothing to do with anything that we're discussing, and having it at the end gives us an opportunity to perhaps visit with that individual right after the meeting and maybe solve whatever issue might be brought up. So anyway, any public comment? Okay, we'll close that portion. How about staff reports?
All right, I will make my report. So I've talked about the tree inventory. It's nearly done, and we have a management plan that'll come along with it. So we're working on that. The trail, you've mostly all seen that trail on the side. A lot of it is storm drain, piping that storm drain and getting that through the property. So it's a storm drain project and trail kind of on top. Our budget, when it comes out, we'll have paving for that for next year, we hope. We also are in discussions with the possibility of purchasing from Mr. Miller a piece that goes just to the north of where our trail will end, in hopes that we will get to the north side of 400 South. And then the idea would be to put a pedestrian activated crossing across First East and bring individuals on that. Would like to get a sidewalk from there down to the park, but we still know that our safe route we need to work on is going to the north to the elementary school. So although we might work on a sidewalk to connect in, sidewalk came up. I would remind at this point we have almost 90% of all streets in Providence that have a sidewalk on one side or the other. We have fixed a lot of that downtown over this last winter and fall, and we continue to fill in that puzzle, and we're making good progress in different areas. I've showed many of you and showed you some of the projects we're accomplishing, and our staff is working very hard and takes a lot of pride in what they do, whether it's visiting the parks, whether it's visiting the public restrooms, whether it's visiting our water sites. Some of those you don't get a chance to enter those very often, and they've taken a great immense amount of work and pride in what they're doing, and we have that throughout the city. Every one of our staff take great pride in what they're doing. We have an amazing staff that works here. A few other things. The Grandview Park is coming along. We've got a design set. We've got the initial grading being worked on now. We'll work to final grade, and our budget as it comes later. We'll talk about the amenities that we plan over the next 2 to 3 years to build that park out. One thing that we are working on and very conscious about is our drought response. We're looking to get a few interns from USU, so you might see some new faces over the summer. They offered us to be able to have a few interns, and they would pay for them. And so we've asked for 6 and for our 9 staff members in the city. So I might have 3 interns over the summer to help on different projects. And so anyway, we're working on that and having various ones. We're trying to work collaboratively with the university on some of that, give them an opportunity. They're in political science usually is the field they're studying, and that to give them an opportunity to see how the city works and to be able to participate.
Plus, we were able to get one for the library.
Plus, there was one for the library. So yeah, so that's gonna be great.
The library doesn't report to us at this point in time, but we were able to say, hey, they could use that, so they put one there.
That's great. The budget, I'm working most of my time, and I apologize that my monthly review of the agenda didn't come out this last one. I've been caught in budget and some other things over the weekend, so that didn't, and so I apologize. You asked about that, and I didn't have that out. But it is coming, and it's a lot of work at this point to work and try to massage all those different pieces of the puzzle, trying to figure out how every single person that we contract with would really like a significant increase this year. So we're still working on some of that, massaging it out. You can see the amount that the fire department increased, the county sheriff's department, the trails would like some, the library, if we fund it, would like some. Anyway, this amount that the executive looks at saving could be spent extremely quickly in all the other demands of growth. So anyway, up to this point in the last 6 years, we haven't had to have a property tax increase. We haven't had truth in taxation, so it's a new process for us. So anyway, another one, the regional, the college level. So they call it a club teams instead of sports teams. Right there's because it's not Title IX or something. So we're excited to host the regional college baseball athletics this summer, and that's an exciting thing to highlight our city. So anyway, we're doing a lot of those. I did have a resident approach me, and I want to give some information, and then if you want to talk about it, we'd go to a closed session. But I just want to give surface information, and then if we could do negotiation wherever we need to do that in a closed session for negotiating of land purchases. And I don't know that we posted we have an executive on there, but we really, I don't know that we need to go there. I just want to give you some ideas so that you have an idea of this if we're interested. I was approached for the potential of a land purchase, possibly for a cemetery, and I don't know whether it's the best spot for one, but certainly I wanted to bring it up and see what your thoughts were. It is these two
Not in Millville, is it?
Huh?
Not in Millville, is it?
Well, we have talked. Somebody did bring up Millville, and there was property there, so we could look at having. I mean, we have a current cemetery in River Heights or the unincorporated county. We could probably do one, but this is actually in the East Bench, and so these 2 acres here, between the north, these 2 acres, 2 parcels. Thank you. Parcels. Thank you. That's the right term I was looking for. It is 17.35 acres in the 2 parcels.
That one and the one to the south?
Yes, this one and the one to the south. These 2 here. So estimated at 1.4 million for both parcels. If we can close within 3 months. 1.7 if we want to have a period of time, up to 14 months to kind of acquire other property, but would have a kind of a half down, or there might be another possibility of carving off some, leaving it with them and buying a 12-acre parcel. So At this point, not talking about numbers or that, just trying to give that out to you. And I can send this out so you can digest what I indicated. But I'm curious if you want me to further look at this property as a potential cemetery. It's on hillside, a lot of hill. It has a single access in, and but I know that we're looking for property, and I didn't want to discount any. And because it came up, I wanted to at least give you the opportunity to say, are we interested in this? Would you like me to bring back more information? Would you like me to further the discussion? Or is this not a property that you'd really want for that kind of purpose? So
Single access isn't a deal breaker.
So anyway, no deal breakers or plus or minus. I'm just bringing the facts. Fact is, it's on the top of a hill with single access. I think our cemetery has 7 accesses at this point.
Yeah.
So generally, multiple accesses are a
Requirement.
at least a consideration.
Yeah.
So I think we have 7 accesses into the one we have now.
What's the slope on these properties?
A lot of it's 30%. We could pull up.
Everything above the deer trail is pretty much straight up.
Yeah, yeah.
I've trumped that hill a lot of times. A whole bunch, in fact.
Well, they're view
Always
lots.
stand people up.
So here's the 30% slope. So anything above the deer fence is a 30% slope. The 20% slope is here. That would take out a lot of the rest of it is 20%, and then the rest is still sloped. I mean, I don't know if there's any flat area, but I would say a significant portion is greater than 30, 20 to 30.
30% we can't disturb. Is that our?
Underneath the power lines, what are the restrictions there? The height, or is it permanent structures through the power corridor? Like, would those be restricted from actually having burial there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easement areas and access and driving and.
Can you see? Do you have a picture of where that is?
They're right over here, on the very edge. Does it have both through this area or just the one set? I don't remember on that side. I know that I can see on this that there's a set of power lines. I think the 2 sets of power lines over here. So they're on the edge of the property that way. So I don't think, I mean, you could put parking or you could do something else or drive underneath them. You wouldn't, because of the construction that could go on, you wouldn't bury under them. Because you wouldn't want to take out the headstones and that. Any permanent structures you wouldn't want to build like that.
What's the possibility of keeping this green? Or would you have to have a zero-scape cemetery?
There's probably a lot that would be zero-scaped. I mean, this is probably a desert, more of a desert cemetery. There's not I mean, there's some water too there, but the pressures and some of that. We don't have a deer fence trail water line. That would be extremely costly to put in a deer fence water line to connect it down. And if we wanted to have that kind of water, we'd need to come back to the canyon.
Well,
to
I
connect
mean,
to.
we had originally, well, not originally, but we have previously had one of those parcels.
10 acres of that parcel we had previously discussed as a potential park.
As a
Yeah.
park, but we couldn't.
It was pretty
We couldn't
unusable.
water it.
Restrooms.
There's some issues. I mean, I think we could have enough for restroom so doesn't take a lot of pressure for a restroom, but certainly takes a lot of pressure for sprinkler systems, and we haven't tested those kind of things out. I haven't tested that out, but if you're interested in me pursuing to get more information to try to work something out to bring back to you, happy to do that. I just wasn't sure whether this was even the right spot. And because we've worked on different pieces of the property, I just wasn't sure. So at this point, I didn't want it to go I didn't want to unilaterally say no or yes. I'm gonna.
Would it have to be used for cemetery space?
No. But I mean, we've talked about it for a park, and we decided that that really wasn't our park spot. So we didn't finish it there. We started down that road, but didn't. So that's why I don't bring it up as a park, because that kind of, I felt like that passed on the bridge. But
Would we have enough burial space to make it worth the cost of those two lots together?
well,
Cost.
that's a good
cost per burial.
question. I mean, obviously, if you could say, well, for 17 acres, that's the size that we acquired 150 years ago. That's the size we acquired in River Heights. So,
But
at 17
it's
acres,
totally
that
flat up there.
I understand, but at this point, that would. I mean, I haven't calculated the number. We wouldn't calculate the number until we acquired and designed, and I mean that would be a 5 years down the road engineered work before we would really know all that.
They would be saying, what were they thinking?
Very well could. Very well could. The one in River Heights isn't the first one we had. Cherrywood subdivision was our first cemetery. 170 years ago, it was in Cherrywood, the subdivision. So we took that out. It was all flat, but we decided at some stage down the road, they decided that they would rather move it and build a housing development. So with the rezone, if you didn't like the rezone, could you imagine rezoning the cemetery to a multifamily housing complex? I mean, anyway, at least you didn't rezone a cemetery.
Maybe at the time, everybody that was buried in there didn't have any family that was alive or that cared or whatever.
Do an A+ job on their transfer.
I don't know. Most bodies were transferred out, some were not.
We found one of them that was not.
Some ran to the road.
Thank you. I saw a poltergeist. I don't
So, most were, and I don't know. Do you want me to do any more research? Is
Seems like
this
to
worth
me-
enough research, or is it like, I don't know. I just curious. At this point, it's just, do you want me to do more research or not? And
Know what they want for it too.
yeah, I mean the price is quite a bit more than what we've paid for the Grandview Park.
I think myself, it seems like there's a lot of complications with it. Minimal access, steep slopes. Myself, I don't know as I would really pursue it unless they really enticed us.
With a great deal.
Great
with-
deal, yeah.
Yeah, a great deal.
So I'm hearing.
I'm leaning the
Not-
same way. I'm the
No,
same way.
unless they want to give us a great deal.
Okay. All right. I believe they'll put it out
Immediate.
on the market, and within the next month or so, they'll put it out on the market to see what they can get that way, and we'll see. And maybe they'll give us maybe once it's out on the market for a while, maybe something will happen. So anyway, I'll wait.
Okay.
Then I am done with my report. Anything else?
Okay. Ty, anything?
Oh yes, we're gonna having skateboarding lessons, and we would like all of you to come and take the first one at least.
Do
Is that
what?
what you were saying?
And
Yeah,
take what?
Yeah, take one skateboarding lesson first.
I
You-
think that's so cool.
You
Yeah.
do not want me on a skateboard.
Yeah.
How much bubble wrap are you bringing?
It's just a first lesson. I mean, how hard can it? How bad could it be the
If I
first
broke
lesson?
anything, I mean, the other day,
You can't sue us.
my
We have
grandkids were
governmental
playing
immunity.
hopscotch. I tried to hop. I don't know how to hop anymore.
I'm going to be absent that day.
I couldn't make myself hop.
I think that's great. I think that will add some family friendly draw.
Okay, we'll give you a pass
There.
for anybody that doesn't want to have skateboarding lessons. We'll give you a pass as long as you sign up to cut sauerkraut.
I'm taking a lesson.
All right,
No,
sweet.
It's not sauerkraut. It's cabbage.
Oh,
Is there-
cutting cabbage. Yes, sorry.
Is there a
I'll
schedule of
do
all the
that.
baseball games that are coming in
Consider
with
it
this
cabbage
regional?
skateboard.
Yes, there will be a schedule. I think
Need to publish that.
Yeah,
actually.
Shawer's going to get it to me, and I'll pass it along to you guys.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yes. So we have the dates.
That's the weekend it is, but we haven't got a schedule of events or schedule of days.
May 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Yep.
Of what?
There's a baseball.
May.
It's all the club teams, right?
Okay.
Right.
I recommend lots of padding.
For the skateboard. Yeah, not watching the baseball. Because that might be different.
You might need that too. In fact, you don't park your car in a certain place over at the Ball Diamond or you lose windows.
So for the skate lessons, I'm looking on the website. I know they've been advertised, but they're not on the sign up page. Sign up for recreation.
I know they put them on the sports site. I didn't realize she didn't link them. So I'll talk to Megan about that tomorrow.
We'll
Okay,
save you a
'cause-
spot.
Thought that they did. Zach from Directive is going to, his team is going to be they're doing it. So.
Or teaching the lessons.
I want to ask my kids if they want to do that, but I don't see the sign up. So thanks.
We'll get it on there. Thank you.
Okay. So, and Scarlett, you didn't have anything other than that?
Nope, that's it.
Perfect. Okay. Just one thing. I just want to make sure that the staff knows how much we appreciate what they've done.
And do.
Especially and do and tell Rob we appreciate his leadership to make all those things happen.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Favor.
Aye.
Hi,
I
here's
have a
this.
meeting with him